I hate puppies.
It's good podcast.
I feel threatened.
Welcome to Hump Day.
Hump day!
Hump Day.
There you go, Stu.
Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is?
That's right. Well, I guess we don't have to hide the fact that we're recording on a Wednesday night because,
And drinking.
which was not my intention.
Or mine.
Not my intention. I usually like to take that whole Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off.
Yep. Try to be adult.
But unfortunately, there is
Armageddon.
500 inches of ice coming our way.
Again.
This is ridiculous. It's getting ridiculous.
Well, this one must be worse because everybody preemptively canceled everything.
Yeah.
Even us, based on everything else canceled.
How did your areas hold up with the ice last week?
Oh,
Honestly, I didn't notice too much of an issue here.
The next day was crazy when it started to melt off all the trees. I mean, I got 100-foot trees in my neighborhood, and we were like walking through the neighborhood. It was like raining down ice upon you. It was crazy.
That was a cool sound, though, when
Yeah.
all of a sudden it'd be like, and you'd look outside, and it's just
Yeah.
sheets of ice coming down. That was all right.
I had to clean up my backyard. I picked up a ton of trees, and I had one of these pine trees that was probably a good 100 feet tall, I guess.
Yeah.
100 foot tall, and big branches of it fell
Yeah.
off. And a couple of them, my brother's dog was outside, and a couple of them like scared the shit out of her. She
Oh,
came running
sure.
back in. But I cleaned up the yard yesterday, and a couple of these branches were vertical in the ground,
Yeah.
6 feet. 6 inches in the ground. I had
Yeah.
to pull them out. I was like, man, this would have killed anybody standing around.
I have one tree in my front yard that is like desperately leaning, like just
Yeah.
waiting to give up the ghost. And at one point, I went outside and I was looking at it, and I'd never seen this before. All the other trees were still, but this tree was
Rocking, moving.
rocking. Yeah, and I was like,
Ooh.
that's
Ominous.
not a good sign. I guess just all the ice was on there, and it would bend, and then the tree would fight, like no,
Yeah.
and then it would bend, and no.
I've got a pine tree that comes over my driveway like that, and whenever it's gonna thunderstorm or ice storm, I take my work vehicle and park it up at the school where there's no trees, because I don't care if something drops on my personal vehicle. That's what I have insurance for, and I know my work has insurance, but they do not want to have to deal with that, and I don't want to have to deal with
Yeah,
that.
I pull my Infinity into the front yard,
Yeah.
put it right underneath that tree,
Yeah.
just wait.
That's what I was just getting ready to say, Troy. Is I was like, since last week, tonight I'm actually looking at where am I going to park my car that's less likely for a branch to fall on.
Yeah.
I just don't want to deal with it.
I don't
No,
want.
I don't wanna deal with it
I don't
either.
want a branch,
want the whole fucking
but I
tree.
wouldn't mind a whole tree. And I know the tree. I know the one that's coming. So
Well, that's the problem. Like my Pilot, it's 15 years old, 16 years old, and almost 200,000 miles. So it probably has zero worth to the insurance company, but the damn thing is perfect in every way. So I kind of don't want to get trashed. Like,
well, that's the problem with like the old cars I
Yeah.
have. Like I've gotten them so beyond Blue Book value
yeah,
that if something happened with that, they'd be like, "All right, well, here's your $900." It's like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
So I can see the insurance adjuster coming out and being, Mr. Kennedy, why is your car 3 feet off the driveway at a 30-degree angle? This tree is perfectly right down the middle of it. Don't know.
don't judge me on where I park my car.
I don't know what to tell you. When I parked it, it was over there. That ice
Yeah.
storm was crazy. It must have slid.
Slid right down the driveway.
That's what it does. Don't blame me, insurance
Yeah.
adjuster. Damn.
They love not paying you, though.
Oh, they'll fight you tooth and nail.
They do. They do. But that's a little pro tip for you.
Yeah.
If your car's got some issues, but it's worth more on paper, come over to my house. Park it underneath one particular tree. The old Widowmaker.
But if it's not worth more than paper, you don't want that. I mean, you
No,
don't
avoid at
Yeah.
all costs. Avoid at all costs. If you've got those rims on there,
Yeah.
don't do it because you're not getting those back. That's a little pro tip for you.
And you took off all the plastic dip on your truck. It's not going to hold up anymore.
That truck is aces. Don't start giving my truck a hard time. That thing looks good, man. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Inside the Pallet House. Hope you guys are having a good week. Hope everybody's staying warm. I have a funny feeling this is going to be the near end of this, though.
I sure hope so.
I got a feeling that this winter is gonna go out hard, and then the spring will come in.
Good.
So
Didn't he see his shadow? Didn't Punxsutawney Phil see his shadow?
Yeah, did you see the it's not a hedgehog. What the hell are those things? They're groundhogs.
Groundhogs.
The
It's not
groundhog.
Hedgehog Day.
Well, I was having a tough time there. It's
Prairie Dog Day.
It's Wednesday. I'm supposed to be
Yeah.
asleep right now.
That's right. Yeah, you did come in saying you're not firing on all cylinders.
No, I'm like, man, I've been working hard. I'm not ready for this, but here we are. But they,
Got to give the people what they want.
one of the guys, the guy in New York, the New York mayor, he dropped the hedgehog that's at like
Groundhog?
The
groundhog?
Yeah, damn it.
He dropped the groundhog on the ground.
Dropped the groundhog onto a hedgehog, which is like kryptonite to Spider-Man. You
You're
can't
thinking
do
of
that.
Sonic.
Yes. But apparently he dropped it. De Blasio, I guess it was, dropped it. And the Central Park one, because they try to do their own thing
Of
because they're New
course,
York,
yeah.
damn it.
He's like, I'm getting out of here too.
No, that son of a bitch hit his head and died.
Oh,
I
And
didn't
so
see that.
they had to shuffle away the groundhog
Oh.
and bring out a hedgehog. There we go. There's the tie-in. No, so they had to bring in a substitute groundhog. I guess
Oh,
they
no.
always have a second
backup?
fill.
Hey, Mikey, it's your
Yeah,
time. You ready to go?
He's like putting out a cigarette. Son of a bitch! I'm
he's
on.
sitting there at the end of the bench in his tracksuit, just not thinking he's getting called up.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Oh, I
I'm
shouldn't.
not
have,
ready for this.
I shouldn't have had that last shot of tequila.
I'm not ready for the show, boss.
Well, he went in. It was his show.
That's hilarious.
What a dumbass. Drop the damn thing.
Man, that stuff happens. I will no longer. Ever since the bird incident, at the beginning of the pandemic, where I dropped one of those birds and it didn't make it.
Isn't it crazy when how, like, Punxsutawney Phil is, like, everybody knows that's the thing, and then other people try to bite off of it. Like,
Yeah.
it's so weird. Like, if somebody does something, let them have a thing.
Yeah.
Like Mardi Gras, which is right, couple
Canceled.
days. Yeah, well,
Yesterday.
yesterday. But like everybody always thinks in New Orleans, but that's not where it started.
Where did it start?
I think Mobile, Alabama. It's like if you trace its roots back, it goes back to Alabama before Stu could speak on this more. He's a Louisiana guy, but it just outgrew. It got stolen by New Orleans, and they just, I guess, did it better. So therefore, everybody traces it back to them.
Well, New Orleans is the ideal place because
hell yeah.
it's just below sea level, so all the pee stays up above ground, and that's just creates that smell that is Mardi Gras.
Yeah,
No, Troy's 100% right.
It's a Mobile
It's
thing
Mobile.
for real?
Yeah.
1702.
Well, look at that. Oh, is the internet working again, Stu?
nice.
I don't know.
Or you just know that off the top of your
Pulling it.
head? I'm
Pulling a fast one.
Okay, I was like, dang, that's pretty good.
Let
1702.
Punxsutawney have the stupid groundhog. Why would New York? New York has enough going for it. Like, what's New York trying to bite off that
Yeah,
for?
let Paulie the pigeon come out,
Yeah.
and be like, oh, Paulie
Well-
saw a shadow and ran away. Daryl the dolphin's wet. We're having more winter.
Yeah.
It's just, whatever it is, but you don't need a damn groundhog.
No,
It's weak.
so weak.
And he tried to kill himself. He tried to get out of it,
Yeah.
but it didn't work. But yes, according to the groundhog, winter will be long. But I just don't see it that way. I think we're getting walloped, and then, and I'm basing this wholly on one thing. You know how like Google or Facebook or something shows you memories from like
Oh,
right.
the week that was in years past? Well, I've noticed that whenever we have snow here, it tends to go back and show me, look at all this snow.
Yeah,
And
Right.
it's crazy, like how often it matches up. Like there's a snow that we had a couple weeks ago, or I guess
Yeah.
it was a couple weeks ago.
we've
It
had
is-
what snow 2 weeks in a row now. This will be a third one.
Well, that one 2 weeks
3
ago.
weeks ago. Well, yeah, 3 weeks ago, I guess it was
Yeah.
snow.
But that
then
one
we had
is
ice
hit.
and
That
now we're
one
having
is
ice
hit
again.
like, according to my photos, within that week we've gotten snow the last like 5 years. So I was
Yeah.
like, well, I'll be damned.
Oh, yeah.
that's our week. But as I was looking at like this week's, as I'm looking at the ones towards the end of the week, I'm like, hey, the top's off of the car.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh shit, spring's coming.
Get
So
ready.
I'm basing it on Google memories.
we do get more snow like in February.
Yeah.
like it's not a December, January thing for us. It's
The photo,
it's the end.
the photo memories that pop up for me, like going back several years, I would say half of them with snow tie into when I'm watching Daytona, because Daytona just happened this Sunday, and like most of my memory photos have
Yeah,
snow.
see?
Yeah.
And that falls right in this. This is our window.
First
here.
couple weeks of February.
Felt bad for Daytona. I tried to get into it again this year, and they just couldn't catch a break this year with the weather.
Yeah, it didn't end until almost
12:30 or 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock or
Yeah.
so. They had a 5-hour rain delay. They only got 15 laps in before the big one.
And it keeps getting stuck with that whole NASCAR thing, which that sucks. That's got to blow.
They raised the spoilers this year, and it ended up being inline racing for a long time.
So what does that mean? They told you when the wreck was going to happen the lap
No,
before?
yeah, just
Spoiler.
it did build up the intensity. You're like waiting because everybody's in line going around and around and around, and then you're like somebody breaks out, and then it wrecks.
But when the spoilers are increased, I mean, doesn't that decrease the likelihood of wrecks because everyone has a little more control?
Right. Well, you have a little bit more control when you're out there by yourself, but when you get the draft going in the pack, gets a little squirrely.
Oh, it wreaks havoc on us.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and the spoilers were so high. The spoilers were so high this year that the top 2 inches of the spoiler were clear, so that the drivers could see out their rearview mirror.
Oh, that is.
They looked a little ridiculous.
We're going back to the Superbird days
I tell you,
in the
man.
70s.
I tell you, even if you're not a fan, you got to go to a race, and you got to go to a night race because it's unbelievable under lights.
Oh yeah.
But I tell you, just watching it on TV, they do a great job of like showing you crazy cool stats, like live action, like in car stuff, like showing you. I mean, they do a good job putting it on.
And what you would love, Brendan, is
The truck race?
now they got the drones doing the footage, flying right down the back straight. I mean, right up to the drivers, and pit crews and everything like that. When they're doing the drones, are just like all over the place.
How does that? It can't keep up with them.
No, it's always like the shot of cars are coming down the track,
Got
and the
you.
drones
Okay.
going the
Yeah,
other
yeah.
direction, but it's still in an area that you wouldn't, because
Yeah,
usually
that's cool.
it used to be helicopter views, or the
Yeah.
blimp. Now it's the drone that's 8, 10, 12, 15 feet off the top of the
I'd be
roof
so
going-
nervous flying that drone with all
God.
that draft
Yeah.
coming off all those cars. Boom, 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 boom. It's just like, oh God, hold it steady.
They show the in-car footage from the wreck, and it's just crazy to think like they're going 200 miles an hour, bumper to bumper, and there's no brake lights or anything. So
You
like
don't know what's
you don't
happening.
know if that guy's hitting the brakes until your pea brain can do the math and decipher that that car is getting closer to me. Except that car was already 2 inches from
Yeah,
me.
that's an inch closer.
Yeah.
Avoid.
The funny thing
I
is,
should pick my foot up and put it on the other pedal. Like, too late.
they were what was cool this time was they were talking about the draft, and they were showing Denny Hamlin leading the race. He's got his pedal mashed. He's full gas, he's full throttle all the way, in the turns all the time, and everybody behind him's half throttle, just using the
Yep.
draft, just killing it.
That's the stuff that's pretty cool to see on
You
TV.
got to manage that
Yeah,
stuff.
I recommend. I know you said go to the race.
Yeah.
Go check out a night race. I would highly recommend going to the race the day before the big one, though.
Yeah.
Because it's half as many laps.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, yeah.
it's the next level down, which I still call Bush.
Yeah.
Bush Series, but I know it's not the Bush Series anymore.
It
What
is.
is it now?
It
Is
is.
still Bush?
Oh, it's Bush?
Yeah.
Fantastic. So I always go to that because I can tolerate like 200 laps.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's about my attention span.
$25 general admission. Go, and it's who you go with, not
Yes.
But
you get me
watching
past
the
200 laps, and I'm just like, holy shit, turn right.
It never stops.
Yeah, they just keep going. I can't do it.
It's so loud.
My attention span is
Yeah.
much shorter, so
Well,
it
they-
gets me to climax a little more quickly.
You may like this.
Spoken like the poor lover that I am. That's how you know I'm a bad lover right there. I'm like, hey, just give me the climax.
you may like this Sunday's race because they're doing it at Daytona again, but it's the road course, so it's half of the oval, and then they go through
Perfect.
the infield, which is actually it's a pretty good race.
And you turn right.
Yeah, and they're hopping the curb like road course.
That's very exciting. Who knows? Maybe I'll check that one out. It sounds better to me.
Well, NASCAR just carries you through till March Madness.
If that happens.
No, it doesn't. I'm avoiding sports like the plague right now, thanks to that new FanDuel Sportsbook, because I won all that money on the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, I cannot watch sports.
Dude, they got
because-
another thing going on where you bet $1 and you win like $100 if
Somebody
team
just
hits
scores.
a 3-pointer in basketball, and you're like, that's gonna happen. So
you just got to
it's
wait till you
genius.
know the one like that you're confident. Like I was confident Super Bowl. Like I was like, I think I can hit this.
But it's genius because now you've won all that money, but you have to spend it there. You don't get to cash out.
No, but I don't get to do that new thing.
No.
That's for a first time
Yeah,
deposit.
exactly.
you know?
But like, you have to spend all your money that you won at FanDuel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm all in.
Yeah.
Until next year when I open up a DraftKings account
Yeah.
and get my Super Bowl money. I'm going to have all kinds of fake money.
They're popping off everywhere. Like there's more than one you can do.
There's 4 in Virginia now.
Really?
There's something, Williams something.
Yeah.
There's MGM, DraftKings,
Yeah, I saw the
and
MGM
FanDuel.
one.
Those are
FanDuel.
all the. And so that means you have 4 years of amazing Super Bowl prop bets if you play your cards right.
That's crazy.
It's beautiful.
What's crazy, I was just looking at FanDuel's website, and their first thing says, which is kind of I don't know if it's how to bet training guide and tips. So you're going to the place to place a bet, and they're also telling you how to bet and train you on betting.
That's what I like to do. I like to take a lesson in how to win from the person who doesn't want me to win.
Right.
Well, I mean, they're going to be truthful. They want you to win. They want you to win at first.
They want you to win once.
They want you to get hooked.
Yeah.
Hey, that first drug's free, man.
Oh, yeah. Heroin dealer doesn't want you to OD the first time. They want you to
No.
chase that
Yep.
dragon
That's
forever.
right. That's right.
They're like, take a little. Next
Yeah.
time you come back, they're like, double it. Yeah, don't get mixed up with
And that's
this
what
stuff.
gets everybody hooked. I mean, you get that win, and next thing you know, you're like,
Oh,
I should
cleaned
just
up.
I should just quit my job and just start gambling all the time.
That's what Pete Rose did.
God, I guess I hadn't thought about this, but this kind of hurt the legal bookie job, right? Is that a thing still?
There was no legal bookies. There was
Right.
sports
I know,
books.
yeah.
But yeah, no, the bookies are hating that.
Yeah.
But you can always find a dummy.
Well, there's
who-
probably still big guys spending big money with illegal guys because they don't want to be taxed. They want to be off the radar.
one of the crappy advantages of a bookie is that you don't need the money up front.
Yeah.
You need the money up front with a FanDuel.
Do you want to walk again?
A bookie will just say, "Okay, $5,000,
Break your
sure,
legs."
I'll take that bet."
Yeah.
Then you have to figure out how to get that money by usually Tuesday.
Yeah.
Not that
Not that you would know. You heard that.
I heard, yes. I heard that usually you have to pay up on Tuesdays.
I watched a good documentary, and I can't recall the name of it. This was a couple weeks ago, and I was scrolling around Amazon Prime. It was about a pro blackjack player, and he had learned from his father, who was big into gaming.
The Monopoly guy?
Well, he kind of was into backgammon and all kinds of games, and this guy was so good at blackjack he could count cards, and he went on a road trip. The documentary followed him around for a year, and he went to every casino basically in the United States.
Is that Inside the Edge?
I think that was it.
That's what it is.
And he played there until he got run out, till they figured out, because counting cards isn't illegal, but they can ask you to leave. And he would he would shave his beard, he'd shave a mohawk, he'd go buy, fake mustaches. Like, he would just constantly, change his look.
I got to check that out. That
And
sounds cool.
he was in a Winnebago, and he just rode around, and it was crazy. They had a graph, and they were showing he'd win $60,000 one day. He was trying to win $500,000 in a year, and then get out, because he knew he couldn't sustain it as a lifestyle anymore, because he was too famous. Everybody knew who he was. So he was like, I'm gonna do it for 1 year. I'm gonna make a round, and he rode around the entire United States and hit every.
That's
gambling
awesome,
site.
man.
Yeah.
I mean, as
It's
long
called-
as you avoid going to places that are owned by the same conglomerate,
So he would have that in certain smaller cities, like they'd be like
or Indian casinos
Yeah.
is probably a pretty good spot.
They start, they take pictures of him and put it out there, like, don't let this guy in. And they'd ask for ID, and he'd be like, I don't, and he wouldn't, you don't have to show ID, which is weird. And he'd be like, you don't, and they'd escort him out, and he'd go change clothes and try to come back. He knew
That
how to
sounds
play
like
the game.
The plumber in Vegas, but it's different. He wasn't gambling.
Yeah.
He would get kicked out of a casino and.
But it's a great documentary. I highly recommend it on
Yeah, it's
Amazon
called-
Prime.
Yeah, Inside the Edge on Amazon Prime. And it says elite blackjack player takes on casinos for millions.
I mean, that's a whole different lifestyle.
It's a stressful lifestyle, but I guess once you got a little cushion,
I just
Game
think
on.
if you could make $100,000 a year, why not just do that instead of trying to go kill all of them for all they're worth all the time?
and you can have a much better life if you lose occasionally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then they want you back. Then they're like,
Yeah.
"Hey, that whale won $100,000 last night, but he lost $100,000 the next night. It's like, you kind of do that. I think you kind of get away with a little more, get set up in the suite. You can live the dream. He just went for the W's.
I was surprised to see how many casinos there were across the country. I mean, you think it's only Vegas and Atlantic City, but so many states have casinos. Like, it was crazy.
Well, when Vegas first started, it really was
the only place.
It was Vegas, and then Atlantic City crept in. But what Vegas always had was the sports book, and now it's just not like that. I mean, the coolest sports book I've seen, I think one of the funniest ones is in the Philadelphia Flyers and Sixers arena.
Mm-hmm. They have a book there?
So if you go to the top level, those are like the cheap seats, right? Well, they have a whole area that's owned by this sports book. Now, you have to have the app, and as long as you have the app, you can place all the bets you want in there. You just
so
have
no
to
betting there.
It's not, you're not betting there, but it has the big recliners. They have the TVs everywhere, so it's a true sports book. So there's all these degenerates that the game is going on behind them.
Yeah.
And they're all facing the screens because you can get a really cheap ticket to go up there, almost like a cover charge.
Yeah.
To this
$20
standing
cover charge.
Yeah, it's like this standing room area. And they all sit there and gamble all day, but you've got the hype and the crowd of a sporting event. They show up early, they leave late. They party their balls off, man. It's really cool to see, and these guys are just up there gambling, and I think that they also you can pay out there, so it's pretty cool.
Well, it's been a month now. Went to the Greenbrier, and the sports book in the Greenbrier is FanDuel.
Yeah, so as long as you're
and it's maybe twice the size of this room.
FanDuel wasn't a word couple years ago. Like, it's not that old.
The best part about the FanDuel and DraftKings, they were like, we're not gambling.
No,
what are you talking about?
No.
We're a game of skill.
Yes.
This is we're doing fantasy football.
Right.
And then the day they started allowing gambling, they're like, ha ha, suckers, fuck skill.
Yeah.
Like, well done.
Yeah.
They set themselves up very well. They were positioned to move in, and
Good on them.
they had the infrastructure, and that's the only reason the government allowed them to do it. They were like, okay, you've already gone through all the legal hoops to accept money, pay out money. We know you can do it. You're good for it.
Never understood government fighting that. Like, all government doesn't have to hardly do anything except sit back and collect checks. Like,
Yeah, but they have to kowtow to the holier than thou.
they got to regulate on some point. I get that.
That's one of the things that's going to come out of COVID.
Are you supposed to pay taxes on FanDuel? Your winnings?
Yeah, because they can
at
report,
a certain level.
They report what
At
you've
a
won.
certain level?
Yeah, like lottery. Like, if you win $500, I don't think it matters.
So, like,
but
the guy on blackjack you're talking about, he's winning.
yeah,
Is he
I'm
paying
get-
taxes
yeah,
on that?
I think so.
Yeah, you have to. They will actually send you at the end of the year if you've won enough money.
It was
like, here's
it was
what you
funny
owe.
in that documentary. Some points, like, they chased him out and they wouldn't let him cash his chips in, and he called the cops, and the cops would escort him back in and be like, "You can't do that. Like, you have to let this guy cash out."
They're like, no, we can tell him to leave. We just can't keep him out.
yeah,
We can't tell him he can't have his money.
yep,
But we can make it difficult.
yeah, and that's what they tried to do.
Per FanDuel, it says if you win more than $600 in a year, you're supposed to pay taxes out on it.
Yeah, screw that. I'm
So
borderline there just off the Super Bowl. Damn it.
So who's gonna police that, and like, how does that all work?
I don't know. I've never been a winner.
It
I will
says-
find a way to get that money back in their hands.
It says FanDuel could send you a 1099 tax form if you've earned over $600 for the previous year.
Yeah, they'll send it to you if you pull out. But if you don't pull out the money, then you haven't. It's like stocks, you
Right,
know?
if it's sitting there, but
Yeah.
Well, and that's why illegal gambling will always be a thing, because degenerates don't want to do that. Like, they don't want anyone monitoring their money. Like, FanDuel is perfect for the likes of your run-of-the-mill sports fan who wants to put $5 on something. Like,
Yeah.
illegal gambling, like, you better have a $100 bill. Like, they're not messing with you. Like, you got to have hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, bookies have a funny way of letting you. They're just like drug dealers. They'll be like, "Yeah, we'll take $10 bets," and then after a while, they're like, "Bro, it's 25, or you're not placing that bet." And then you're like, "Okay," and then next thing you know,
done.
you're desensitized to $100 bets, and then the sky's the limit for the bookie.
Then you're parking your car underneath a tree.
Yeah.
Yes. Precisely.
Yeah, then your car accidentally catches fire in the back alley somewhere.
The one sporting event that I have been eyeballing, because I already bet on it, but usually I get, like, somebody gets the UFC fight, I get the UFC fight, and then we just wait till the tail of the tape, and it's like $5 on every fight, and loser gets to pick the next fight. That's the easiest way to do it, where you can just keep going.
And it makes it fun.
Yeah, whereas now with FanDuel and all this, I can just bet on it. But did you see this guy last week in UFC who won and took his shot after the W?
Oh, yeah.
There's a guy named Julian Marquez, and he got a pretty good victory. Like, he knocked this dude out.
Yeah, it was an upset, I think.
Yeah, he got a good W, and it had been years since he'd been able to do the victory speech.
Yeah, nobody talks to the loser.
The victory speech after the fight is almost exclusively reserved to call out the next dude ahead of you.
Yep.
To ensure that Dana White or whomever's in charge is kind of forced.
You're trying to get your next payday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you never come up there and say, "Thank you, Mom."
Yeah.
Thank you, Dad. That's not what UFC fighters do.
Thank God.
They say, "Fuck you, guy better than me," and usually
I'm coming for you.
Usually they leapfrog the guy that's right ahead of them that they should be fighting, and they go for the biggest payday.
Well,
so
got to make that cash.
Yep.
Yeah. So the goal is you want to call out the biggest dude you can in the hopes that you'll get that fight, which in turn is a bigger payday. But this dude,
you don't want to go, if you're like 6, 7, 8 steps down, you don't want to call the title guy out, but you want to go for the third, fourth place guy.
You want to get the guy so your next fight could be a title fight.
Yeah.
So you're always working your way up. And that's the standard procedure in every fight I've ever seen. Call out to rise up, get out of your league.
Have you ever heard Joe Rogan's take on the after fight interview? It's pretty funny because he basically is like, it's what he does for a living. He's like, we should not be doing this. Like, this guy's been going after it for, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15, sometimes 25 5-round fights, beating the hell out of each other.
Completely exhausted.
Yeah, and, probably concussed. And he's like, now I'm going to go in and ask about the fight. Like, he's not of sound mind and body. Like, what are we doing?
Well, I saw him, what was it, the other day he was interviewing a couple of the fighters, just asking about, politics. And it was very interesting to see these guys spout out on today's situation.
You just got your teeth knocked out. What do you think?
How do you feel about
climate?
the military-industrial complex and what it's doing to us in this day and age of COVID? Is this still a good way for us to make our money, or should we be focusing on pandemics? Your thoughts, Julian Marquez.
What's your take on the GameStop? Have you put any money in that?
Have you been short selling, or are you just kind of, where do you stand on hedge funds? Is this the scourge, or is this just a practice that's been there since day one? Because technically, the first short sale went all the way back to the India Trading Company. I mean, I don't think it's anything new. Fuck McGregor.
He just knocked me out.
But this dude took the calling out of your level and out of your stratosphere a little further, and with a slightly different twist, and I kind of appreciate it.
He used a wrecking ball.
He quite literally did. This dude, Julian Marquez, gets up there, and he's like, it's been 3 years since I've had a chance to do this, so finally I get my chance. And you're like, here we go.
Yep.
How high is he going to go on the fighter rank? And he's like, Miley Cyrus, will you be my Valentine? I was like, I hadn't even considered trying to move up a couple notches on the ladder of women.
If you got a platform.
I know it was, it worked because it was around Valentine, but I love that he said, be my Valentine. Not like, can I take you out? Like, he's like, he just literally beat the snot out of somebody, and he's like being sweet too at the same time. Like, it was like candy heart shit. Like, will you be my Valentine?
It was well played.
Yeah.
It was well played. And she took notice.
Yes.
Yep. She responded via Twitter.
She responded right away and said, if you shave MC in your chest, I am yours, capital Y-O-U-R-S. I am yours.
I mean,
and a
look,
big heart and said, happy V-Day and congrats, my love. But my question, though,
happy
is
VD Day.
What is she doing? Because her Twitter response was at 4 a.m.
Look.
You don't question Miley Cyrus.
No, she's a saint. And look, if this is genius. Like, this is what this guy should do. Like, that's a better use of your time. Like, he's a great fighter. But he's not a big name yet.
It took him 3 years to get a W
Yeah.
to even get on the stage. He's not killing it. He's obviously doing all right, but he's probably not getting that big title fight.
And
so
he
he
didn't-
went for the title notch on his belt.
Yeah, and he didn't go like for the biggest, hottest celebrity. Like he's like, okay, let me shoot down on this level, and I could probably get to this level.
I got a fighting chance.
Yeah.
And he knows,
She likes to party and have a good time, and she's growing up for sure. She's not as wild as she once was, but she's cute and has some skill and some money. Like, she's talented.
I think it's a good shot. Take
Yeah.
your shot. That's a great shot. Take your shot.
Well, he took another shot though,
Uh-oh.
because she responded via Twitter
Okay.
at like
how'd
4 a.m.
this go?
and
Oh, crap.
about 12:30 that afternoon or at noontime, he responded back to her because she's asking for the shaved chest.
Did he do it?
He says, Miley, if you get a henna tattoo that says Cuban Missile Crisis above your belly button like Tupac, I'm in.
What does that even mean?
See? You gave him two. He's
he
all
now
punched
he
drunk.
overshot it.
He blew
overshot
it.
Done.
You just put that MC on there and show up at her door.
Look, dude, you shave the MC in your chest, and you go on the date. Like, that's done
You
and
take
done.
your date.
You don't. Why would you ask that of her? Like,
He blew it.
if you play your cards right, you go on your date,
Well,
and
I
then
mean-
you ask other things.
She asked for the shave. He's asking for
Nope.
the tattoo.
No, you don't. That's
Not really going there, right?
You don't start off dates by asking things of girls.
No, outside of, would you like that steak rare?
Exactly.
Medium,
Yeah.
medium rare?
Where would you
Let's-
like to eat?
Yeah, let's keep it. Like
Do you like seafood? These are things. Yeah.
Keep moving the ball along. Don't
That's right,
initiate a
yep.
new challenge. You know.
Don't volley it back across and
Yeah.
give her a
If
way
you can
to
release a-
spike it down on you.
Did
she
she
didn't
do
it?
it?
Did she?
No, but that's his Twitter feed, and he sent the picture doctored up with the tattoo on her belly.
Nope. See,
I don't hate this guy though. I can't hate him. I can't.
I don't. He's.
It was a misstep.
He. Look, he swished the first shot. He bricked the second shot.
It's
so
like
let's see
it's
how
like
it goes.
gambling. Quit while you're ahead.
But he didn't.
Exactly.
He didn't even know what to do. He's like a dog chasing a car who got the damn car.
Dude, that's a great analogy. That's
You know-
exactly what happened.
You
He
know
was
what I
not.
mean?
First off, he wasn't expecting a response, much less a yes.
He
at 4 in
panicked.
the morning. Yeah, he tripped over himself.
Yeah.
He's that receiver running down the sideline that the defensive guy's tripped up, and this guy's wide open, and it's a perfect pass.
Yep.
Hits him dead in the hands, and he just fumbles it away.
Just fucked it all
Or
up.
the guy standing in the end zone and just hits you square in the chest. It's like, I didn't know what to do. I wasn't expecting that.
dropped the ball at the 1 yard line.
Yeah,
He was almost home.
he was there.
What, Stu? You're just pointing at me.
Point-
Speaking of dogs, don't you have one that can't reach the bumper?
Oh God, yeah. It's been an interesting. It's been an interesting week to say the least. I didn't expect things to go the way they did. I tell you what I might do, because this story is going to take a while. I might pivot to a deli.
Okay. Is it deli time?
No, it's not.
Okay.
But when this is over,
Did I jump the shark?
it's going to be well beyond deli time.
Yeah.
So I say we ease into a deli,
All right.
and then I do have a story. That's called a tease in the industry.
I got you.
I had an interesting few days. Hey Troy, did the Jenga of beers in my
Take a beer in the fridge. Just-
Something just
I
fell
lost.
apart.
I'm out.
because I just saw the 6-pack come up, and as I heard
Oh.
bottles and cans tumbling to the ground. I've really got to do something about that.
When was the
but
last time you actually had a keg in the beer? I mean, the beer in the.
I
keg
know what
in the
you're
fridge.
saying,
Sorry.
despite you Julian Marquezing that
Yeah,
at the
exactly.
end there. I bought a keg week 1 of football season and then realized no one's coming over because of COVID.
Way too much.
And I just started filling the Yeti with cases of beer. And that seemed to work much better for me.
Gotcha.
It's a bummer too, because you got this kegerator, you got the full bar, you got the tap going. It's just nothing there.
It's a unique setup for definitely. I mean, and there's probably are there any beers that have been in there for ancient? I think there's a couple in there that have been in there forever. I don't know if it's.
Oh, I can assure you there's beers in there that have been there forever. Because actually, at the very beginning of the pandemic, I flat out refused to go buy beer. And I had a whole fridge out in the garage full of beers. And it was all rando beers. I had all these random beers in here. And I just said, you know what? Screw it. And I started drinking random beers. You would be shocked how many
Yeah.
oatmeal porters and stuff. Oh, that thing?
You got a Red Bull fridge over here that died years ago.
It's
Still
full,
got stuff
full
in
of old beer.
it. Oh,
full of very skunked beer. That one,
yeah.
even I have my limits.
For our next segment, here we go.
All right, I'm very
Who
interested in
can
what
not puke the longest?
right.
I'm interested in what this beer is because I see on the side of it there was some kind of a discount situation
Yeah,
going on.
you know who this came from? My father-in-law.
Okay.
So this came
Okay.
from his favorite store, Fresh to Frozen, which I've yet to set foot in.
Wait. Fresh to frozen? Don't they do everything that's just past the expiration date?
Something like that.
or nearing it. It's not.
Yeah.
You remember the old Hostess stores? I don't know if you
Yeah.
were ever poor. I remember very vividly. You'd go to the Hostess store because the bread was like it would come out of the grocery store because
Yeah.
it's just not going to make it.
Well,
But
the
you get Nutty Buddies and Wonder Bread and all that stuff right before expiration. You get that.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
The expiration date is just a guideline. It's not the
We
deadline.
used to buy the fraternity when we
Yes.
had cookouts. We go to that Hostess store because it was right down the road from the
That
fraternity
place
house.
is awesome.
And you buy like hot dog bun packs for like 50 cents. Like it was awesome.
And
dude.
all of like the pies and
Oh
the-
yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
all the crap,
All those apple
Twinkies,
pies,
Ho-Hos,
yeah.
Nutty Buddies.
It was sad when that place closed.
I think
I love
it's
that
that kind of place where the food's still good, but once you open it, it goes away
Oh yeah,
faster.
it's like
You got to get it done.
You got to eat it that
Yeah,
day.
you're eating it then. It's like, what's for dinner? Fucking 12 hot dog buns,
Yeah.
dick. And heat up.
We have 8 hot dogs, but we're eating 8 hot dogs and 12 buns.
All right, so this beer
This
here.
says it was packaged 7-1 of 20.
So that's actually not bad at all. That's
too
actually,
bad.
dude, there's a
months?
lot older beers
Oh yeah.
in this house. All right, so this is the Sunset Passion Fruit Tangerine Wit exclusive release. Now this is from New Realm Brewing Company. Now New Realm is interesting because they're brewed in Georgia and Virginia.
Yeah, that is crazy.
So I've never been to this brewery. I don't know their stuff very well.
So can I ask you a question, Troy? Do you have a good relationship with your father-in-law?
If it's on sale, he's buying it, and he knows I drink beer, so he's always buying
Okay.
beer.
Respect.
Says the subtle herbal and spicy notes found in a traditional wit beer are complemented by tropical passion fruit and tangerine sweetness. Color, gold with a light haze. Unique ingredients: passion fruit, tangerine, coriander, orange peel, and chamomile.
Nappy time.
Chamomile.
Yeah, sleepy
shit.
time tea.
Yeah. New Realm, Sunset Passion, take me away.
Oh. Well, I do like the fact that it says, it's got a little slogan there. It says, seek what you thirst.
Yeah, that's weird. That's another one. It's just one of those weird slogans. What does that mean?
Seek what you thirst.
Seek what you thirst.
Yeah. Like
Jumanji.
drive what you draw.
Yeah.
What?
Whatever. You know,
You haven't told me anything.
Eat what hungers you.
yeah.
Yeah. It's nighttime.
Oh, this is
This
getting a
is-
little.
Enjoy.
It says open now, drink now. Well, of course.
Yeah,
That's
that's,
a little,
how most beers work. This is those cans, too, that are popular now with the wrap. It's got
Yeah.
the wrap on it.
yeah, you can feel the seam.
This is interesting. When you try this beer, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised and disappointed all at the same time. It's a very odd beverage.
It is. It is. That's a great way of putting it.
It
I've had one
wants
sip. Let me
it
go
wants
back.
to be a sour,
Yeah.
but it's not. It also wants to be a lemon head. Do you
Yeah.
remember the candy lemon heads?
Oh, God,
Yep.
yeah.
Drink it and think lemon head.
Yeah.
You'll find it.
And
You
just
can
so,
tell it also wants to be a wit beer.
Yeah.
so just so everybody knows, it's a mustard yellowed can with maroon writing.
Yep.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I think, Stu, if you look closely, it's kind of the maroon. Yeah, it's definitely like more purple. It's got like a purple tint to it, or is that
Yes.
just my eyes?
Or is that the color like passion fruit? What is, I don't know. Sunset passion fruit.
Stu,
tangerine.
have you put this in your mouth enough to formulate an opinion?
Where in Virginia is this brewed?
Virginia Beach.
Virginia Beach.
Interesting.
It's Atlanta, Georgia, and Virginia Beach.
I'm pleasantly surprised.
This-
Actually,
This
Yeah, I
sounds
think-
like a stew. This tastes like a stew beer.
Oh, it's definitely got some notes of stew.
I mean it's
Mm. Notes of stew.
Yum.
I mean, right off the bat, I think it's a little flat,
Yeah, well, notes of stew.
but
It is what, 8 months old?
it's not bad. I mean,
7 months maybe.
overall, I'm just going to put it out there. I'm not going to describe too much because I can't put my finger on some of the flavors. I taste the tangerine a little bit
It's got a lot going
on
on.
the back end. It doesn't stick around too long, but it's definitely smooth.
Passion fruit means nothing to me. I don't know what that.
Well, I'm tasting the tangerine, I think.
I don't know what that and I agree. I taste that too, but I don't know what passion fruit tastes like.
I think passion fruit is one of those fruits that's not all that great on its own. You have to doctor it up a bit.
Yeah, I've heard someone say
Yeah.
that too. That the name sells it more than anything. It just sounds good,
Yeah.
but it's not necessarily good.
Yeah, it's like sea bass, which originally was monkfish or some
Yeah.
shit. And they were like, it's not selling. Call it sea bass. Like, this is very good. Chilean sea bass. Yeah, I think that was the monkfish.
You guys just described this perfectly. It's not really great on its own, so they called it Sunset Passion, and you're thinking, okay, this is going to be something unique.
And
a
it's not the flavor profile. The flavor profile is Lemonhead's candy.
Yeah.
It's like a shitty neighborhood with a great name.
Yeah, I mean, for 5.5% alcohol, I'm going to give it a 2.5. I like the simple marketing. That's the half point. I mean, it's smooth. It's surprisingly, but I wouldn't go buy this.
5.5 is good alcohol content.
Yeah. It's strong, but it's not like.
Yeah, it's
you
not
know,
over 8. Knock you down.
But it's strong enough that I'm glad we're recording the night before the ice storm.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just I don't know. I
Did
can't
you
put my
say
finger on
2.5,
it.
Stu?
2.5.
2.5.
I just can't put my finger on it.
Okay, yeah, I'm I drink this. I like that little bit of wit right at the beginning. It's that sharp wit flavor.
Yeah.
But it's not peppery at all. The overwhelming aftertaste in the back of my throat is Lemonhead candy, which is kind of that fake candy flavor.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I don't recall them saying lemon. It's all tangerine, wit, it's all this, but that's certainly what I taste.
It says tangerine and orange peel. It's got double doses of
It's all the
citrus.
but the one that comes out is a totally different citrus fruit
yeah.
for me.
Maybe that's the passion fruit, coriander, and chamomile counteracting.
The coriander.
It's probably the coriander. The coriander's
That's
lending itself to the wit.
Yeah.
This beer is actually fine. It's not great,
Yeah.
but it is fine. I like this beer. I would drink this beer, but I would not go out of my way to find this beer because the complexity of it, or what they're trying to create with complexity, is kind of like some fake flavors, some things.
Now, it had a
going on.
sticker on the side that said $5.99, which I'm
Yes.
guessing is the markdown price. For a
At
microbrew,
$5.99,
yeah.
it's a 4.
Yeah.
At
Yeah, I didn't realize that. It changes a few things.
because now you're putting it below PBR and you're
Yeah.
kind of trending towards hams.
Yeah.
So yeah, at that price point, shit, go get it.
Yeah.
If you can find this at $5.99, go. But that is not my score, because that's not what we're doing here today.
No.
We're determining if it's a good beer.
Well, that's the Hello to Fresh price, right?
I tend to agree with
fresh or frozen, I think.
Fresh or frozen.
tend to agree with Stu. It's very much a 2.5, but I'm actually going to allow it to trend towards 3. I'm going to give it a 3 because I like the way that it's kind of it's a candy ass version of a Blue Moon in
Yeah.
some respects.
Yeah.
It's kind of got some of that. I think there's a place for this beer. I would not turn it away. If someone handed me one of these, I'd be like, hell yeah.
Dude, it's so funny that's your description, because I know the listeners will probably say I'm lying, but that's exactly what I would say. I give things 2.5 when it's average, and to me, this is just above average.
Just above. And if I
Just
could go
above.
2.75, I would, but I can't.
Yeah, it doesn't taste bad. It's a above average tasting beer. Would I seek it out? No, but I definitely, if someone had one, I'd grab it before a PBR or something. If I want a little
It's
flavor,
flavorful.
yeah, it's got
Yeah.
some good flavors in it. So I would go 3, just like you.
Yeah, I think that's
I
fair.
wouldn't tell anyone they had to go find it. I wouldn't seek it out again. But if it was in a cooler somewhere, I'd definitely grab one and be like, oh, my stupid ass can't remember anything. I probably be, what's this? But
Yeah, but it's going to net out around
Yeah.
a 2.8, which I think is probably exactly where it belongs in that
Sounds about
ballpark.
right.
but I think we're all surprised.
I'm actually shocked at
Yeah.
how good it is. I just can't get over the fact that it's got that lemon head-ness to it.
Which some people might like.
Oh, if you don't like beer and you like candy,
Yeah.
enjoy.
Yeah, it doesn't really taste beer like.
I was a little concerned because you said it's 7 months old. Where you picked it up from, so I had an expectation of like what's
skunked
actually going
out,
to happen.
yeah.
I was waiting for skunk.
Yeah,
there was no
yeah.
skunk.
So pleasantly surprised, but yeah, I don't know if I'd buy it.
All right, well there you guys go. That is
But for $4.99, I would buy it.
Oh, for $4.99? No. Like
$5.99.
$5.99.
I'll pass it on to my father-in-law. He did well.
At $5.99, pick that up.
Yeah.
At $10.99, you can do better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
You
sure.
can do better.
definitely.
But okay, so there it is. That's the Sunset Passion,
New Belgian.
Passion fruit tangerine
Not New
whip
Belgian.
from New Realm
New Realm, sorry.
Brewing Company. If you're in Georgia or Virginia Beach, you can probably find this. I would seek it out at the Fresh to Frozen.
If they have any.
Avoid Total
Yeah.
Wine. So, all right, yeah. So, Stu, you had brought something up. I had an interesting week. So, we'll start at the beginning.
Oh, here we go.
We've talked about this on the podcast, right?
We've talked about one aspect of it,
Yeah.
but that's not where this journey's going to begin. I've been eyeballing a new beach cruiser for quite a while because
We talked about this, right?
as many
Yeah.
listeners will remember, I had my prized beach cruiser stolen this summer. And that one was like, I really thought I had made the perfect bike. Like I was very
Yeah, you love
impressed.
that bike.
I was very impressed with myself.
You built out a couple beach cruisers, and this was your
I thought I'd nailed it.
Mona Lisa.
Yeah, I was like, I really did it. Like, this is the perfect beach cruiser. It fits me just right. I'm very happy. The problem is that in order to replace that beach cruiser, it would have cost me between $600 and $700. And to go to the upgrades that I had considered doing to that beach
Remind
cruiser,
the listener what happened for those who didn't hear the episode.
I took 2 beach cruisers down to Murrells Inlet, South Carolina for the beach. And I put them underneath a house in what I thought was a really hidden corner. Like you had to come under our house, go past the cars, hook a left, and hook a right over by the shower. Like it was
Tucked
very
up
hidden.
under there, yeah.
And some crackhead had come up off the beach. And I believe he came up off the beach because the next day there was a crackhead down at the end of the dock, down at the beach, who had to be escorted out by police. But they had come up, they had rummaged through my wife's car. They'd gone through the cars that were unlocked, looking for
You don't
change.
think it was some teenage kids up to no good?
Just because the next day I saw the crackhead, I'm not going to say
Yeah.
it was teenage kids. I think it
Did
was.
they take both bikes?
Well, he couldn't ride 2. That's why I think it
so
was one
it was
dude.
a lone guy. Yeah,
And
so chances are it was probably a
This crackhead had an eye for quality. He saw the stretched Huntington Beach Bicycle Company cruiser with the aftermarket seats and forks and
Probably wasn't his
handlebars.
first rodeo.
I think even if you're on crack, this bike stands out as nice. And the one good thing is my buddy Matt was there, and I did get to say, well, that settles it. I had the best looking beach cruiser because he had his prized beach cruiser there. So I got to say, I told you mine
You
was
have your
better.
red beach cruiser there too?
I did.
Okay.
Which thank goodness, because that allowed me to continue
Yeah.
to enjoy the week. But yeah, it took the beach cruiser. So I've been trying to replace it ever since, and it's been tough because in order to do it up, like I said, it'd be $600 and $700 just to buy that bike, and then it was about $800 to get it to where I wanted.
You didn't have
it to
that
be.
much in it.
Hell no.
Yeah.
I got that thing. I saw a guy who was selling it for $250, and I called my brother-in-law, and I said, "Hey, don't even negotiate with this guy, but I need you to go do it because it's up by you. It's not by me. Give him his full $250. Don't negotiate. I'll send you the money right now." And he went over and got it.
Nice.
And then I tricked it out from there. So I've been on the look for a new beach cruiser. Well, there's been this one that's behind me here, sitting in Charlottesville for the last couple weeks. It actually sat for a month. I just didn't notice it till about 2 weeks in. And I knew that this weekend we had kind of the long weekend. So I was like, you know what? President's Day. I don't have to work. I'm gonna take the kids to Charlottesville, grab a bike. Was my logic. So my wife finds a little French bulldog that she likes.
Run that back real quick for those. I know we talked about it.
So
she's been eyeballing them for a while.
Yeah, she's been eyeballing these little dogs. Now, the problem with French bulldogs
You
is
have a dog.
I have a dog. He cost me $200 because I think a good price for a dog
2 years.
is $200. See, the kind of dog I like is when one kind of like purebred awesome dog or some other dog decides to hump someone else's purebred dog that's not related at all.
Yeah.
And we get rid of all of the problems, the defects, because recessive genes like deaf and Dalmatians and hip dysplasia and dogs, those things don't want to continue. You bring in just some other mutt.
Well, and when you get a mutt, like a $200 mutt, like that $200 has gone to like they fixed that dog. They've been feeding that dog. They've like given it its shot. So you're like, that money isn't just for, you're not paying for extras. Like that money has gone to something.
Yeah, this is just to get that dog to this point. Like I'm a big fan of mutts. I like
You're
mutts.
a mutt guy. You always have been.
Always have been. Your
like wife is
mutts.
too. Not a guy.
Which is what's so strange about this weird desire to have a French bulldog. And I blame it all on our vet because she's good friends with our vet and his wife. And I had gone out of town and she went over to their house and fell in love with a little dog. And she was like, I want a little dog. And I was like, okay, I don't, but little dogs, like, look at all these little rescue mutts. These are all little.
Yeah.
Like you have a little dog.
I have a little rescue mutt. Little
Man,
terrier
he's
mix.
fantastic.
22 pounds maybe.
What'd you pay for that dog?
I want to say it's like $100. Like it wasn't even $200. It was $100.
So cheap.
Yeah.
I'm a $200 dog guy.
Yeah, you're a
That's
fancy
how
guy.
I roll. Yeah, I'm willing to pay 100% more than you.
Whoa, baller stuff.
Yeah,
Well,
double what you.
Your neighborhood is a lot nicer than mine, so.
So I have $200 dog.
Yeah.
You have a $100 dog.
You guys are still both doing well because the average is between $700 and $3,000 for an average dog across the board.
Really? What?
That just in general.
Because
average people spend between
you're
a one-time spend.
You're counting all the purebreds that people pay a grand for.
Of course.
Right, they're saying the low end is $700.
I've known people to buy $1,000 and $1,500 dogs. Like,
well, the French bulldog is not that. The French bulldog starts at $3,000 and climbs.
what? Why?
Because it is.
They're hot right now.
It's the hot dog right now, and unfortunately, because of COVID, dogs in general have become hot because people are home. They're like, hey, I got time to like train a dog and like spend time with the dog, and I'd like a little companionship because fucking life is boring.
Yeah,
and I've already beaten Halo 4 times.
I'm tired, and I'm tired of the assholes that live in this house.
Yes, so I'm gonna get a fucking dog.
Yeah.
So my wife is on.
My neighbor at the lake has 3 of them.
3 little dogs?
French bulldogs.
Oh, God.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh, there's a lot of money floating around.
Yeah.
I mean, that's on the low end, that's $9,000 worth of dogs.
Wow.
Running around on the low end.
Easily.
So, and these things go from 3 to like 7. And I've seen people asking 7 for these dogs all day.
That's insane, dude.
So my wife has been under the impression like, I got to get it less than 3, which already her bar has moved to a level where I'm like, why are we even considering this? I'm a $200 dog guy.
Well, and like, how does it work with dogs? Like, if you're buying a purebred and you're paying entry level money, like you're getting an entry level dog. What does that mean? I'm not
an entry level dog.
Guy.
I don't.
Dude.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I'm
like
yeah.
Obviously, certain ones are worth more. I don't know, and obviously, different types of dogs have different values. Like, if the color is one thing, it's worth more. Or if the bloodline's better. Like, so do you want to get in on the cheaper end of that? Like, is that a good idea?
Maybe.
Yeah.
It all comes down to health as far as I'm concerned. And
you never know the health. You
one
never
of
know how the dog's going to be. It's like
No.
our own health.
No.
Like, you don't know.
No. You can have, look, kings and queens have had some messed up kids.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
over the history
Wonder
of
why.
time.
Yeah.
Wonder why.
Yeah. Why is that? Well, it's the same thing with purebreds, you know?
I
You're like,
married my sister. I don't know what's wrong.
you're like, yeah, they're brothers and sisters, but not from the same litter.
Yes.
So we'll just breed them.
Yeah.
No, dogs are a mess. And
Yeah.
French bulldogs are no different.
We have bastardized dogs all to hell. It is funny to think like all dogs came from wolves, and then you see like a French bulldog, you're like, that thing has wolf
No
DNA.
way.
Like, that's
Dude,
crazy.
the French bulldog, they bred so hard that their tails come out bobbed.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
You don't bob that tail.
Oh, wow.
Those dogs no longer have a tail. It's all butthole.
That's crazy.
It's all butthole. I mean, it's crazy because they just kept breeding them down. Now they have no tails. Now their noses are concave.
Yeah.
They go in. Like, that's more adorable if it can't breathe. It's horrible. Like,
You don't have to crop their ears either, right?
No, their ears just
stick
stand
straight
up
up like
ridiculous like
satellite.
bats.
Yeah.
So these things have been just bred to shit. Like they could not survive in the
That's
real
the perfect
world.
description.
Yeah.
A bat.
Yeah, it does look like bad
They
ears.
got bat ears. They got
Flat nose.
3-inch legs, big chests,
Yeah.
and heads with little short noses that can't breathe. Is the
Yeah.
favorite thing a French bulldog says.
They're better than pugs, though. Pugs are.
Pugs are a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Because they're like, let's get the wrinkles to choke it out. That's adorbs. No, it's horrible.
Totes adored.
Totes adorbs. Look at all the rings.
No way.
So the wife saw, she'd been looking and she finally saw something.
So she found one, and it was under 3,000, which is she's looking for a deal, but she's had to shift her idea of what a deal is based on the fact that they go from 3 to 7.
Right.
I can't knock her because I have a dream of owning a Rolex one day. And
So if you could find it,
if I could get the cheapest Rolex they make, I would get the cheapest Rolex
precisely.
they make. Like,
Okay.
It's the
it
guy
should
with
be a
the
Rolex. Like it'd be
It's
the 4,000
the guy with the
version.
trench coat that says, "Would you like to look at one?"
I want
here?"
no, I want a real one, and I don't mind paying for it. Maybe one day, but like I'm not looking in the $10,000 to $15,000 range.
and well, that's a fair way to look. Like you know that if you can get it under 5, you've stolen that Rolex.
Yeah.
So my wife finds this dog, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, look at Teddy Bear." Now I've been going through this every night, like a woman looking at Zillow.
Yeah.
She's been on Puppy Finder, and so I've been seeing every night. I wake up and there's like 3 dogs in my messages, and I have to look at the dog, and I'm like, that dog looks like it ran into a fire hydrant 100
Yeah.
miles an hour. Like I don't know about that. She sends me this dog, and she's like, "Hey, it's $2,900." And she's like, "Look at it." And I'm looking at this dog, and I'm like, "Yo, it's gorgeous." Now, leading up to this, there's been multiple $800 dogs she has sent me, and I'm like,
Oh wow.
you recognize that an $800 dog, when this is the going rate, this is a scam.
Yeah.
Right.
And like, so I'm like doing like reverse Google searches, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Hey, look, here's that same dog over here." So like, we're
If you found like a cheap rental on a ski slope or something.
shut up.
I'm just trying to equate it to
Okay,
something the
yes.
kids might,
Okay, no,
the
yes.
listeners might know. you
We
know?
all get it. Yes. If it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true.
I've done this with the boats. Like I sent my uncle who has the lake place. Like my wife found a great boat, and she was like, "Check this out." I was like, "That's amazing." I said to my uncle, he's like, "That's definitely a scam. Like, there's no way that boat would be that deal." Like,
That's the best. Jeep
Yeah.
Wranglers all the time. You go on like Facebook
Yeah.
Marketplace or Craigslist.
So
and
you
they're
see
like,
a ton of them there they see a ton of cars that say $1,000.
yeah,
And
Yep.
like,
yeah, 1,500, and you're like, "Whoa, it's a
But at least,
steal."
but a lot of times those are real because they'll have the real price in them somewhere. But like, what
yes,
you're talking about, is
Yeah.
like,
if you see
literally-
1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah,
read
yeah,
the
yeah,
description.
Yeah, that's
But so she found this dog.
it's only 2 years old, and they only want $1,200 for it. Weird.
Now, unbeknownst to my wife, I'm going to get a beach cruiser on Monday.
Yeah,
That's my mentality. Like I'm going to take the kids. We're going on an adventure, and an adventure
Road
these
trip.
days means we're going to go out to eat somewhere and
yeah.
get,
For
get
you,
something.
it's
Yeah,
leaving the driveway.
like we're going to hit a
Yeah.
drive-through. This is going to be the best day ever. So I'm like, we're going to do this. So my wife shows me this dog, and I'm like, actually, that dog's the shit. Like, I've seen all these dogs. I'm now very familiar. I like this dog. I'm willing to entertain this. And she says it is located at, and it was a town that's outside of where JMU is. So
Okay.
I'm like, that's not so bad.
Not
Like,
too far
Yeah,
from
it's
Charlottesville.
2.5 hours.
so in my
Not really.
mind, I'm like, okay. And she's like, so now I just got to find a way to get this. Now, this is Saturday night, right before Valentine's Day, and I don't celebrate Valentine's Day. This is not my thing.
Yeah.
I don't do it. The first time Valentine's Day came up after we started dating, she was like, Valentine's Day is coming up, and I was like, I'm going to let you in a little secret.
Yeah.
I will never give you a card. I will never buy you flowers, but I will always do whatever you want that
Yep.
day for you. But I'm just not a Valentine's Day guy. It's a made-up holiday. It's bullshit. I was like, but I would love to cook you dinner.
Preach.
Do that.
I do the
But-
same
There you
thing.
go.
Like my wife and I, we don't do anything for Valentine's Day. Like usually we might get a card. This year we didn't even do cards. Like
I refuse to do the card. I just won't do it. But I'm like, but I love you very much.
yeah,
And I want you to know that. So if you'd like me to cook or if you'd like me to go get dinner for us or pay for dinner, like
It's the cheesiest shit too.
it's
Like
stupid.
It's a Hallmark
you
holiday.
buy crap. Like literally, the crap they sell on Valentine's Day is crap.
Yes.
And then like, you're forced to do it. So why the meaning's not there? Like I take my wife flowers to work or bring them home on a random day. Like I'll go up to her job and take her flowers. And all her coworkers will be like, "What'd you do? Why are you in trouble?
Dude.
Is it her birthday? What's going on?" And she'll be like,
that's the thing.
"It's
If
nothing."
the only day your significant other is getting a card that says something is one time a year,
dropping.
You suck.
Yep.
That's it.
You
You're
suck.
stuck.
Yeah,
or
you're not doing
flowers,
your
or
job.
if you're being romantic
Yeah.
one
No,
time.
flowers should be done early summer time frame because there's nothing going on.
Yep.
Boom, flowers at your work. What do you do? Just loves me.
Yep.
And you know what I say on the card? Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Because I just spent $10 on what would have cost me $80 on
Yeah.
Valentine's Day. But I do love you. It's neither
So,
here nor there.
Question for you though.
Yeah, go
She's
ahead.
sending you pictures of dogs randomly leading up to this event. Are you letting her in? Because you said you didn't, but you weren't letting her in on the ideas of a bike.
No, because she's known that I've been looking at bikes ever since the bike was stolen. The problem is I'm not finding the right bike.
Right.
And I'm just not, and I'm not going to force it because it's the dead of winter.
Yeah.
Well, this guy had a bike that I covet this bike very much. I'm like, I like this frame. I like what he's done to it. I think I can get a good deal. And for another $100 of me like buying the parts I want, I can make this bike very pimp. So I was like, you know what? She said she found it on Saturday, this dog. She's showing it to me. I'm like, that dog actually is perfect. If you're willing to pay for it, because I'm not buying another dog. Like I'm not. It's her buy. Like she's buying it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, because that's what I was going with is like there's not an equitable spend here between the dog and the bike. You should have gone for a bigger bike.
No. So I said to her, she said, well, look, I guess the only thing I can do is go on Valentine's Day. And I was like, you know what? I'll do you a favor. I was like, there's a bike in Charlottesville. It's on the way to JMU. I will go get that for you. I'll go check out that dog for you on Monday.
That's nice.
While you're at work, I'll take the kids. I can get the bike that I've been looking at. So I'm texting the bike guy. He's like, yep, totally available. He's like, I picked the wrong time of year to sell a bike.
There's ice on the roads.
Yeah. I was like, yes, you did, buddy. So I'm like, all right, let's
I'm
do
getting
this.
a lot of hits on this thing right now.
Does it come with spikes?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Got chains on the tires? I'm confused.
So we get the address of the place, and I'm like, that's not that close to JMU. This place was so out in the middle of nowhere in West Virginia that she was using JMU as the closest landmark. It was 60 miles past JMU
Ooh.
before you leave the highway
Oh, no.
to then start going into the mountains. It turned out to be in Hardy County, West Virginia, whatever the hell.
No idea where that is.
It's the county no one knows.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
What'd the girls think of this?
well, I didn't tell the girls. I just told the girls we were getting a bike
Yeah.
because I didn't want them to be
Yeah,
all.
but you picked the bike up and then you kept driving in the wrong direction.
They have no concept of direction. You know what I mean? Like they're staring
Did you take
at
the 4Runner or the Infinity?
No, I took my wife's car. I was like, if
Oh,
I'm
nice.
doing this, I need a grown-up's car. I
Did
can't
the
be-
bike fit in the back, or did you have to put a...
I put a rack on it.
Okay.
So I drive to Charlottesville. I pick up my bike. I go meet this dude. This dude has beach cruisers and all kinds of stuff. He's been building bikes in his basement. He's like, you know your stuff.
It's
He's
a
like,
hobby. It's like a hobby for him.
Dude, he's built like some steampunk looking bikes. I was like,
Nice.
this dude's rad. Like I dig this. So I try to talk this dude down on price. And he's like, he looks at me and goes, you know as well as I do what you're looking at. He's like, I know you're a bike guy. He's like,
He saw the SLBC satin jacket you had on?
yeah, he knew what was up. So this dude flat out, I was like, I tried to talk him down $10 because I realized
Oh, wow.
he wasn't budging. Like as I'm giving the buying signs,
What do you
and,
want?
Like, $150.
Okay.
So I go,
Only got 140.
I was like, and I was going to come in at 125 thinking, oh my gosh, I stole this bike.
Only
Yeah,
brought
yeah.
20s.
So I was like, well, what about 140? That way, I've got the 20s. That was my line. I was like, it's all 20s. And he's like, I think you know as well as I do that that's a more than fair price for that bicycle. I was like, sold.
Yeah.
Went to the car, got all the money, gave him it.
I found a $10 bill.
Loaded it up, and then I was
Yeah.
like, all right, the journey continues. So we drive up over the mountain. Calm down.
What
Fog
are girls
everywhere.
doing? You give them devices or something? That's
Yeah.
a long ride.
Yeah, they got devices in the
Yeah.
back. But so as we're coming up over the mountain in the fog, and they're like, "Dad, can you see?" I'm like, "No, but I'm good." Like,
Yeah.
Did you see anything that said Lost City?
Not that I'm aware of.
Because it's right. I'm just saying you're closer to like Front Royal and Manassas. Than
Oh,
you
I
are to,
knew.
like,
I knew I was in trouble
Strasbourg.
when her directions said, "All right, when you pass the green sign that says this, I want you to
Oh,
look
no.
for a red sign that says this." So
You're in the
like
country.
she's giving landmarks.
She giving you State Road 626 and
Yes.
stuff like that. Oh yeah.
And then she goes, "Now my
Go
driveway."
down the frontage road.
She's like, "My driveway will be very long, and there'll be a big "Do Not Enter" sign on it."
Nice.
And I was like, "Huh."
I'll fire
okay.
one warning shot. You flash your lights.
Yeah. So I've been driving along with no reception for quite a while through the mountains,
Yeah.
up and down mountains. And then sure enough, I passed this like one sign out of the corner of my eye. I see is a big giant "Do Not Enter" sign. And I'm like, "Oh shit, that's it." So I turn around, come back. Now, of course, there's snow and ice everywhere.
Yeah.
So I'm going down this long ass driveway through the ice and the snow. I get to the end of this driveway. There's this single wide trailer just sitting there.
Not even a double.
Not even a double. Single wide trailer sitting there, right? And off the back of it is Bad News Kennels. Michael Vick's
Oh,
kennel
nice.
place. I mean, it is. These dogs have a far larger home than she does.
Yeah.
I look outside. There's kennels and crates and all kinds of things packed up. Dog food everywhere.
Chain link fence everywhere.
Chain link fence, and there's a big run around the back. And I'm just like, holy crap. Like,
Yeah.
I have entered into,
And with a pocket full of cash, I guess.
and I've got a pocket full of cash. So I'm like, this is.
You don't,
this
and
is-
your daughters. I mean,
Yeah.
let's not overlook
Whoa.
your two daughters.
Yeah, let's look at the true valuables in this
Yeah.
situation.
your wife's car. Hold on, what?
So I'm like, oh shit. I was like, I knew what I was getting into, but sure enough, I got there. I was like, my fears are realized. This is a,
I hope you laid that on your wife. Like,
This is a
you don't know
giant-
what you've asked me to do here, honey.
and there's no way for me to get a hold of her.
No, yeah, cells don't work here.
You know what I mean? Like I can't talk to her about the dogs.
You
And
should've
she's
had
like,
your revolver with you.
she's like, I thought about that so much.
Yeah,
But even my daughter's like, do you have your gun? And I was like, we don't need a gun. This is perfectly fine.
totally safe. And then in your head, you're like, this is not totally safe.
No. So we
Wow.
get there and the dogs start barking. It's a cacophony of dogs. It sounds like she's got 50, 60 dogs all back through here. Just going batshit. And I can't see over the giant fence.
Yeah.
But I saw from the top of the hill when I was coming down, I saw what was back there. I mean, this is a
Yeah.
palatial dog estate with a shitty home. This is a woman who gives no shits about her well-being and
Probably
just
didn't care much for the dogs.
no,
either.
and is stockpiling
Yeah.
dogs, all kinds of dogs.
That's her job.
That's her job.
Yeah.
That's how she makes her money.
Do you remember the name of the kennel?
Paradise Hotel.
Speaking of shitty neighborhoods with nice names, that's a callback right there. Like,
Yes. So Paradise Hotel.
sounds amazing.
And the only reason I figured that out is because her email address that we'd been responding to had like PH Hotel or something.
Yeah.
I did some researching and I pieced it all together. So I found her. So she comes out. She's like, what do you want? You know, like this straight off the boat Russian lady.
She have a jack hanging out of her mouth.
She did not, but clearly the whole place reeked of shit and smoke.
Yeah.
Despite being a winter wonderland.
Yep.
You know, and she's like, what?
Besides being a paradise,
Yeah. And she's like, what do you want? And I'm like, I'm here to see Teddy Bear.
did she have? Was it all Frenchies? Like, was that the thing? Was that her thing, or did she just have?
Lord only knows what was
Yeah.
back there. Sure didn't sound like all Frenchies.
Yeah.
But my God, I was like, I'm here to see Teddy Bear.
So, but she had a website with pictures of each dog.
No,
you
they
could
were
look at.
posted on random pet finders and
Okay.
things like
Oh.
that. So we found him.
But you did have a picture of the dog you were going to get.
and I knew his name, Teddy Bear.
Okay.
And I'm like, here to see Teddy Bear. My name's Brendan. She's like, okay. And she goes back.
Hold on. She isn't.
My
She has an
Accent.
my Russian accent is going away.
Okay.
It's like a Russian redneck accent.
Okay.
I don't know how else to describe it.
Eastern Bloc style.
Eastern Bloc. Now, in retrospect, Ukrainian, if you want to
Okay.
get technical. So she goes.
Ukraine, West Virginia.
So she goes in the back and she comes out. with like 7 French bulldogs. And
Doesn't
like,
even know their names.
And like, dude, she doesn't know anything about these. She just drops them out in the snow, and they're all like, "Rah!" going just batshit, you know. And they're jumping all over the kids, and the kids are like, "I love this one.
Yeah.
I love this one. Let's take 2.
We gotta
Oh my
save
gosh,
everybody.
I love this one."
We gotta
all
save
of
them all.
All of them reek of crap. I'm like, oh God, these dogs stink. And then out comes Teddy Bear, and she had said he's so quiet and so calm and so sweet. And I'll be damned if all these other dogs aren't just tearing up everything. And then there's Teddy Bear, so sweet, so calm, and he just comes over.
Chilling.
He comes over and he's like, and I'm like, this one's Teddy Bear here.
This one's dying.
Yeah, and she's like, oh yeah, that's Teddy Bear.
But did it look like him?
Oh yeah, no, it's him.
Okay.
It's him. He is the most gorgeous dog in the world. And then he goes, and then he like vomits up some stuff. And I'm like seeing his ribs, and I'm like, I don't know that. And my wife, the one thing about French Bulldogs, I'm like, all I'm looking for is health and attitude. Like I want it to be healthy, be able to breathe.
And these weren't like 8-week-old puppies. These were.
No, that's the screwed up thing. So Teddy Bear is 7 months old. So he's kind of losing his puppiness. But at the same time, I'm like.
But we here at ITPH, we hate puppies.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
There you go.
So this kind of works in my favor, right? So Teddy Bear is like snot, and he rubs snot all over my jacket.
Oh, that's great.
He vomits right in front of me. I'm like,
Perfect health.
this dog is not in great shape. And then it occurs to me, he's so chill
Because he's sick.
the son of a bitch can't breathe.
Yeah.
Like he can't do anything. And I'm like, oh no. And the dogs in the distance, and here's all these dogs, and I'm realizing that this is not a great situation here. Like these dogs are not living their best lives.
No.
Now a handful of them probably come out as little puppies.
Gotta kick you in the dick knowing you're quote unquote rescuing a dog and not getting a rescue price.
No
Like,
shit, right?
The SPCA dogs live a better life than these quote unquote designer dogs out here in the hills of West Virginia.
Now there's this one dog in the group of 7, right? And he comes over and he's jumping up like the others, but he's not barking at me, and he's looking at me, and he's looking at me like, bro, get me the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Like, you got to help me out. And, like, when I would go walk away, he would just walk by me. And when my daughters would walk away, he'd walk with them. So, like, the other ones just wanted to go. They were out.
Bananas,
They were tearing. They were doing their
crazy,
thing.
yeah.
This dog kept staying by our side, kept being sweet. And I'm like, what's the deal with this dog here? And she's like,
What?
she's like, oh, that one's older than the
What was
other
his
dogs.
name?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the best. I go, what's his name? She goes,
Didn't have a name.
Oh.
She starts looking through her phone. She's like,
Mike.
she goes, Mr. Perfect.
Mr.
That's Mr. Perfect. And I'm like,
She made that up.
You're getting
no,
sold.
no.
You're getting sold.
She showed me a picture on another website. Sure enough.
But she's got so many dogs she can't keep up with them.
Dude, she doesn't know any of these dogs' names.
Yeah.
She doesn't know anything that's going on. She's got so many damn dogs. And she's pumping out, different ones. And I'm like, so
She's
what's...
just swapping them out,
Yeah, and like, so the
keeping the girls going.
the young ones that are perfect,
Yeah.
they get sold right away, but then you got like 2 left over, and they just start aging out.
Like the old dog at the SPCA.
So I'm thinking to myself, this is great. I'm going to be able to steal this dog.
You're going to
because
pay me to take this thing off your
Yeah.
hands.
Yeah.
I was like, this
Nobody
is
wants
great.
this old dog.
This dog's got a scar on his leg. He's got a little scar in his ear. I didn't notice the ear thing. He's got one line down the side of his face. Like, people like symmetrical. Like, this dog ain't symmetric. Like,
And he wasn't like
and
he wasn't
OC
that like blue or gray color. Like
no. So I start calling out all the things I don't like, because I'm kind of like,
you're-
I kind of like this dog. Like,
but you're like
Here's
you're an aficionado now. You're like, he's got this and that. He's like suddenly you're all of a sudden you're a
I'm trying to get him to a $200 dog.
yeah, like that's what I want, a $200 dog. So finally,
it's
I'm
like at a
like,
car dealer. Like, did you notice that ding over there? And
You get a Carfax?
she's like, and I keep trying to get her down on price. I'm like, come on, you gotta come down on price. She's like, I'll give you the one with one testicle for a better price. And I'm like, I don't want the one with one testicle. I was like, I want this one over here.
I've already dealt with that.
So then I say to her, well, the truth is, he's like 13 months old,
Right.
a little older than what I'm looking for. I don't know what his history is. It's like, and you don't have any like puppies here. And I was like, and then also, he's not. He's smaller. Like I'd like a big one, like a big head, like a muscular.
But they're French bulldogs. They don't get big.
You would think.
Well, is she getting some fat ones going?
No. So this woman who tells me that these are the French bulldogs we're looking at today. This is all we've got. So then I dropped the complaint of I wish she had like a puppy. She's like, okay. She flushes all the dogs back inside. And then she comes back out and she's got this little tiny puppy.
Is this coming from the trailer?
Oh, going back to the kennels. You know,
Okay.
She comes back out. Now she's got a puppy. Where a minute ago I didn't think we had more dogs.
Miraculous.
And so she's like, she's got it. No, I'm good, Troy. So then she's like, she's got this little puppy. And this puppy's scared out of its mind. It's shaking. It's just cowering. I'm like, I don't want that.
But
like,
you were going for teddy bear. So did you X out teddy bear like from the
Teddy
jump?
bear had what she thought was a soft palate issue. And she's like, no problem. You do surgery, do this. She's like, I'll give you
surgery.
Yeah, she's like, do some surgery on the soft palate. She's like, I think that'll cure it. She's like, that'll get him down to $2,900.
But you're representing your wife, so you got to make sure like.
Yeah, I got problems here.
Yeah.
So finally,
She's already picked out the one she wants.
And so I'm like, I got no way to get a hold of my wife. And my kids are like, I love this one, this one, this one, this one. Like, son of a bitch.
We're
They're
taking them
selling
all.
You out. Yeah.
We're taking them all.
So, yeah, you
What's
lose
a
all
baker's
leverage.
dozen cost?
You lose all leverage when kids are like,
yeah.
I love this one. I love this. Like, that one's Snickers. That one's Toodles. And I'm like, fuck me.
Dude, you did better to me because I ended up, when I took my girls to go pick out a puppy,
You got both.
we found one, and it just so happened that the sister was matching, same colors. And they're like, can we each have one? Now, granted, I got them for free.
Big
because they're
difference.
much, so I was like, maybe I can handle that.
So I'm.
Honestly, if you get one, you might as well get two. I mean, really.
Well, I already have a dog.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But like,
I already have my $200 dog.
in Stu's situation, like, if you're getting one and they were puppies, right? They were younger.
Yeah, there was. I mean, I got the puppies because I got the news from the vet that my awesome dog Dixie was on her last legs, had maybe 3-6 months left to live. So I was like, I'm going to transition the kids, and I've read about to lose a dog and all this stuff. Dixie ends up living about another year and a half, and I ended up with 3 dogs running around the house for a year. So it's just nuts. But yeah,
Fortunately, this dog's a half dog, so I don't have to. It's a little easier. I got 1.5 dogs now. But yeah, this lady comes out. So then she tells me, she's like, you do Wi-Fi. Do Wi-Fi. And so she's like, give me your phone. Give me your phone. So I give her the phone. She hooks me up to the Wi-Fi. She's like, now you can text your wife. I'm like, smart. Okay.
Yeah. That's
So
the
now-
first time that's happened out here in Nowheresville.
So now I'm texting my wife, and she's like, well, are they healthy? Like, I wanted teddy bear. And I'm like, teddy bear's dead man walking. Like, I'm not paying $2,900 for this dog. And Lord knows how much surgery's ahead of it. So we're not getting teddy bear.
no, it'll be a purebred cost because it's $29 plus the surgery, and a purebred's about $6. So we're good to go.
Yeah, there you go. So I
'Cause
pieced
you know,
it together
dog surgery's
that
so
I could.
affordable.
Yes. Well, I could do a video call. So I'm like, this is great. So now I got Wi-Fi, video call, and I'm like showing her all these dogs. So she brings back out all the other puppies, and they're running around. And she brings out the baby puppy, the one that just looks like kill me now. And I'm like, oh my God. And then so I pull I was looking, I don't know. This one over here I like, but he's just not. I like a French Bulldog to look tough, like a big head, and like a big
You're in
chest.
such a bad spot, too, trying to do that over video chat.
It's
Like,
horrible. So
This whole experience makes me think of that scene in Aliens where it's all the remakes of Ridley.
Yes.
It's like, which one's going to be right?
Dude, she goes in the back when I say I'm looking for someone with a bigger head and a big chest. She pulled out a French Bulldog. It's something called Merle. So it's like blue Merle. It's like blue and gray kind of like look. Holy crap. This French Bulldog's skull is bigger than my American Bulldog lab mix. Comes out, looks like a tank. He's towering over the other French Bulldogs to the point that I'm like, holy shit. Screw these dogs that need help.
yeah.
That dude right there he's a monster.
What's he going to cost?
So,
So she goes, $3,500 for him.
what?
And I'm like, well, I'm not.
I mean, how old's the dog?
Well, before she even went and got him, she goes, do you have a budget? I said, yeah, I got a budget. She goes, I'll still show you. Brings out this dog. It's a masterpiece. I mean, like the Adonis of French Bulldogs. I was like, holy shnikes.
But how
Like,
big is that, though? I mean, so he's got a big head. How big's the dog?
If all the other dogs were 25 pounds, he was 50 pounds.
Okay.
But he still had that little tiny French Bulldog look. He was just all bone structure.
Yeah.
Like he was awesome. And he was gentle. Like he came out and was like, hello, like all chill. I was like, oh shit, like I really like this dog. And I video chat. My wife's like, that dog's disgusting. I'm like, no.
Wow.
I was like, damn it. So then I'm going back and I'm like, well, this guy with the scar on his leg, and like, he's the cutest dog here, and he's the nicest one.
How are, like, I'm no dog expert. Like, how are his markings in the French Bulldog world? Because he's white with, like, brown on him.
Very rare.
Yeah.
That's what she said. Very rare.
Oh, well, of course, that's what she would say.
But that's what she said.
Were
She's
there
like,
other dogs there with those markings?
For that
No.
for that county of West Virginia, very rare.
No. Well, look, if there's anyone who's got 40 French Bulldogs, in the back, she probably knows. But I hadn't seen a lot that looked like that particular dog. So even I was kind of like smitten. But
Yeah, because most of them are, like, more solid, right?
yeah, a lot of them. But you can get some like that. But
Yeah.
not that particular color scheme was new to me. And it was just so sweet. And it kept looking at us like, God help me. Like, seriously, guys, I'm 13 months. This is probably my last shot.
Yeah.
And she's like, he's 3,000. She will not come off it. And I'm like, well, look, a little smaller than I like. Very old. You're selling puppies.
Yeah, very old.
He's 13 months old. And do I know it's 13 months old? No.
Yeah.
Because I go, when was that one born? She goes, January. And I'm like, how do you?
Yeah.
I don't
you can't keep
keep
up with
track
all this.
You don't know. You didn't know his name a minute ago. She accidentally brought him out.
What was his name?
Mr. Perfect.
Oh, that was Mr. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that was the one that I was like, the whole time I was gravitating towards him. And so I'm showing my wife, and she's like, I don't know, he seems nice. If he's sweet, then she's putting it all on me. If he can breathe.
no.
And I'm like listening. He's the one who's not snorting.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, he can breathe. It's not as big as the others. The others are like beefier, which I wanted. I wanted beefy and young. That's all I wanted. Beefy and young.
We've heard that before.
Yes. I like him beefy and young.
You teed it up and Stu knocked it out.
That's right. But when it was all said and done, she told me to find the one that looked the healthiest, wasn't snotting or snorting and breathing,
Yeah.
and was sweet with the kids. And there was no denying that this is the one that never left their side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of my two daughters, one of them, my eldest, the big dog, stays by her side all the time. Well, this little dog was staying by my youngest daughter mostly.
Yeah, so you're like,
There you go.
This checks off a huge box.
This checks a huge box
Yeah.
for me, So I'm like, crap. It's like, all right. So I'm like, being the sales guy I am, like, all right. I've talked to my wife.
Well, you had just talked the bike guy down.
Yeah.
I nailed that. got that dude from 150 to 150. So I'm feeling strong,
I'm gonna take the guy with the scar and
wheeling
the
and
big
dealing.
boy for $5,000. What do you think?
Yeah. So I pull
Take
the
both dogs.
I'll give you $2,500 for the old one, for the old little one.
Yeah.
Immediate response: he's not little. No size in French Bulldogs. French Bulldogs come all sizes. And I'm like, damn it.
You ain't
And
fucking
then-
with that Eastern Bloc chick, dude.
No.
Yeah.
She
And
ain't-
then she says, many people want an older French Bulldog.
Yeah, probably.
And I'm thinking, no, you don't want one that spent 13 months in a kennel, hasn't been pet once.
Yeah.
He's got a
Yeah.
scar on him. Lord knows what this poor thing's been through. Like, but he's not traumatized. Like, he's like, I love you guys. I want to hang out.
Yeah.
Like, he's not running. If I make sudden moves, he doesn't give a shit. So I'm like, okay,
He's like the
He's-
12-year-old foster kid. Like,
Yeah.
he's like,
Take
Yeah.
me. I'm perfect.
I've seen what's going on here. Humans show up and they take one of us. I think I'm gonna
yeah.
hang with these humans.
Oh, sorry. I was just doing my arithmetic.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you were here.
Cheerio.
Yeah. Allow me to remove my hat. I am indoors. Like this dog was playing it perfect. So I was like, all right, I'll give you $2,500 for that dog. And she's like, you should come back another time. Like, just cut me off at the knees.
Dude, just
Did you get in the car?
ice.
No, I didn't have a chance to get in the car. Because she said, you come back another time, think about it, talk it over with the wife, let her know what you know. And then she goes,
Did she know you had driven, 3 hours, 3.5 hours?
dude, yeah. And I'm sitting out in the middle of
Yeah.
nowhere.
Yeah.
In a holler between two mountains in West Virginia.
Yeah, next time I'm in the area, I'll just swing
Swing
right
by.
through because, I'm out here all the time.
But in my mind, I am thinking, if I ever need a French Bulldog,
I know where to go.
she's pumping them out
Yeah,
at
yeah.
a ridiculous rate. So, I mean, I could. But so I'm like, shit. And the girls are like, they're welling up with tears.
So you got two little girls with you and a wife that knows you're, you got to come home with something. You can't
Yes.
empty hand. You might as well drive off a cliff.
And I'm not kidding.
empty-handed.
10 minutes before, I had come to the conclusion, like I'd gotten over that hurdle. I go, fuck this. I'm going home.
Yeah.
I don't want these dogs. They've been through hell. This is not a great place to pick up a dog. But this one dog just kept being like, I'm different. I've seen things. Could you just get me out of here? And I was starting to melt a little bit. And my wife's like, just, you make the call. I'm like, I don't need this crap.
Puts it on you.
So I'm thinking, okay. And the last thing she said to me before she hung up the phone, if you can get that dog for the $2,900 that you were going to pay for the other dog, for Teddy Bear,
Okay.
then that's your limit. That's what you do. So
Did you try and make a strong move by like actually going towards the car?
no, I said $2,500. I was like, that's it. And then she kind of gave me the spiel about older dogs are better. And then she was like, look, I got to go feed the dogs, walk the dogs. They're getting antsy. You can hear them barking. She's like, it's that time. She's like, come back another day. She's like, thank you so much. And she leaves.
Whoa.
Walks on me. Took the wind out of my sails.
Yeah.
I was going to walk
Dude,
on her.
She's a pro.
A pro. Ice in her veins,
Yes.
dude. As we're surrounded by trash and snow. She's headed back. And as she's shutting the gate right before it shuts, I said, let me tell you the truth here. It's like all my cards on the table. My wife has told me I have $2,900 to spend. I literally have $2,900 to spend.
And I can't come home empty-handed.
No, and I go. So if you'll let that dog go for $2,900, I'll take that dog. But otherwise, this is over. Okay.
Oh.
Damn.
And she'd been going all over, dude.
Was 29 your tops? Like, really?
I'd bought a bike.
So you didn't have any more than that?
No, I'd bought the
Oh,
bike.
wow.
I was
Yeah.
kind of humped. Like I had singles and tens. Like I could have given her like 29.14. So I'm like,
I don't have to feed the kids or get gas on the way back home.
yeah, I was like, I'm a level with you.
$2,900 in both my daughter's jackets. That's all I got.
I was like, I'm a level with you here. Like I can't do any more.
Do you need a cruiser?
In that moment, the kids' tears worked in my favor a little bit because she's looking at them, and that one little bit of Eastern Bloc ice melted, and she was like, "Okay, let me wash him up, take care of him." She's like, "Which dog are we talking about again?" I was like, "Fucking bitch,
Damn.
like you bitch,
Which dog?
like, what? You son of a
Gotcha.
bitch!" Like
She did that. That just
Oh.
she stuck the knife in your
because
side
she
right
had,
there.
she
and
had
twisted
pointed
it.
at one nut over here.
Yeah,
she
yeah.
pointed at palate vomiting
Yeah.
over
Yeah,
here. You know, these are the $2,900 dogs. And then which dog was it? And I was like, Mr. Perfect. She's like,
Damn.
okay. She goes back. She washed him up. She comes out with some photocopied championship bloodline
Of
family
course,
trees.
Sure.
She's like, here's this. And I was like, I really don't.
Yeah.
I don't care. I was like, this dog's
Not
a pet.
breeding the dog.
I was like, the dog has got a scar.
Yeah.
I can't show this fucking dog. I was like, we're looking for a chill pet. And she's like, people like to know. It'll come up. You want to say this. And she's like showing me, and I'm like, all right,
Again,
cool.
I don't care.
Right.
Don't care.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting the dog, and I'll be damned if he didn't sleep in the youngest daughter's lap like the whole way home, like exactly like I dreamed.
Yeah.
Whole car reeked of farts and stink. Oh, she brought out that puppy. That's when the puppy started farting at a level that was just atomic. I was like, oh my God. I was like, get that puppy out of here. So we've got the dog, and he's been here now for 48 hours. It is the sweetest damn dog in the world. Like, he's so grateful to be out of that crap.
Dude,
Oh,
I
yeah.
walked in.
Yeah.
So I got here tonight a little bit before Stu, and everybody was still in the house. Brenda hadn't come out to the pallet house yet. And I was like, I got to meet the new dog. So I walk in, and where I walk in through the back door, like, I'm in the kitchen, and I can see the living room, and they got the dog bed out, and the dog is literally laid out on the side with all four legs out, asleep, and it just opens his eyes and looks at me, doesn't get up, doesn't bark, and it's just eyeing me one eye, just like, who
You're
are
cool.
you? But you're cool. Like, everybody seems chill. And I was like, that's a cool dog because he's not freaking the fuck out right now.
But he's
Still-
he's probably in the back of his head thinking, suckers. I got you.
Oh, I
guys."
think
Sleeping on a bed that's 10 times bigger than he is, like, that's memory foam.
Yeah.
Like, he's probably like, This is the life.
Yeah.
The other dog's furious.
Oh yeah.
Furious.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's
He
not happy.
can't believe this. Like every time you pet that dog, he's like nudge.
Yep.
Like, don't forget me, you son of a bitch. So I keep telling the girls, like, you got to spend time with Wrigley.
Yeah.
Like, he can't, because he could develop a complex and become a crappy dog.
Yeah.
So like,
Well, so then you
I
had.
think it's a good thing though.
I know when you told me 2 days ago you got him, there was a big naming debacle going on.
bro, I've gone through.
So Mr. Perfect was never going to be the name.
Now, I tried so many names, because we bought him in Hardy County, and I was like, Hardy's a dope name for a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, so Hardy boy.
And he's Hardy. He's like Hardy. He's a
Exactly.
Is there a name on the certificate?
No. No. This lady doesn't know what she has. She's finding dogs under
Yeah, he's
trucks.
not even fixed. You got to get him fixed.
Oh, yeah, that's the truth. Because he walked in the house and was like, "Hey, is there another dog here? Because this is what we do in my house." And he starts peeing everywhere. I was like, "Sweet." So yeah, I've been breaking him.
It was
that.
Hardy, and he's got that off-center stripe. You were gonna.
Yeah, the off-center stripe is like a lightning bolt. So I
Yeah.
wanted to call him Potter, Harry Potter,
yeah.
because he's got the Harry Potter stripe. So I was like, he's a Potter. And then my wife was like, it could be Porter. And I was like, I like Porter, but he's tan and white, and Porters are dark.
Yeah.
So I'm like, doesn't fit. I wanted Capone. A lot of Scarface things. I wanted Enzo for the racing stripes.
Yeah.
Shelby for the racing
Yeah.
stripes. Like everything I was doing was him and his look.
And it never.
The original
Didn't
name
stick
was
at all.
the original name was Franck, like Cab Franck the Tonk,
Yeah.
because they're like so stocky. But he wasn't stocky. He's like
Yeah.
the runt. If that big monster-headed dude came home, I was like, that's Franck. That is him.
We'll
That's
have, to,
Franck.
we'll have to put a picture on our Facebook page so everybody can see
Yes.
him.
But officially, as of tonight, my wife was like, fuck it. I'm calling him Folly. For like Folly Beach.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Beach Cruiser. Tie it back to your Beach Cruiser.
and I
One
was
trip.
like, you know what? I was like, I don't like the name. I don't hate the name. I'm not going to argue with you. You just spent $2,900. Like at some point, she's going to be extremely frustrated with me
Yeah.
that I'm like not allowing her to name her dog. So as soon as she got to a name that wasn't like offensive,
Yeah.
You gotta roll. You
and
gotta
last
roll
night-
with it.
Toodles
last night
or
she went
something,
with
you know.
Vin. She's like, it's French for wine. It's Vin. And I go, I love Vin.
Yeah, Vin's cool.
I was like, all right, we'll call him Vin. I was like, Vinny. She goes, if you ever call him
Yeah,
Vinny,
exactly. I was just thinking the same thing.
And I
Call
go-
it Vinny, you're
I
screwed.
go, then we can't call him
Yeah.
Vin because everybody's going to call him Vinny.
Yeah, for
Everybody.
sure. No
'Cause
doubt.
Vinny's adorable. So she said Folly. I was like,
Isn't that a saying like Vinny Vici or something like that?
Vinny
That
Vinny
means-
Vici.
Vinny
is-
Vinny Vici.
is Latin.
But so it's over. She chose the name. She was like, I like it. I was like, done. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm out.
We like Folly Beach here.
Yeah. I thought Enzo would have been cool.
Enzo's cool.
Enzo.
But all good. It's Folly. We're happy. The dog is here. We are out a bunch of money. And there's a Russian lady who's somewhere happy in the woods.
You could have had 15 dogs for that dog, but hey,
Dude, is it so?
15 to
I'm just,
30
I don't
dogs.
want 15 dollars.
I'm just
picturing-
saying.
I'm picturing this place where you got the dog from. Like, it's probably just horrible.
Dude, it's rough. I mean, it's tucked up in the mountains, man.
Yeah.
Well, it's in the holler.
Yeah.
Down in the holler. Nobody can find you.
Yeah. And it's
See how
it's
many of
set
those
back.
places are around this
Oh, there's-
country, too?
oh,
There's
yeah.
got to be
There's tons
so
of 'em.
many.
I mean, I have relatives that live in the holler and
Oh,
outside
yeah.
of Charleston. It's I don't know, but would you? How do you feel about those? I mean, it's not a puppy mill, is it? It's not really. I mean, 40 dogs or so.
Look, dogs are weird, man. Like, we bastardized the shit out of them. I probably, if I saw the place, I'd probably be disgusted.
Yeah.
I'm a rescue dog guy, and I get people like purebreds and stuff.
But at the same time,
But at the
I
same
think
time, you're rescuing that dog. I
Right.
mean, you are doing that dog a solid. It's just I hate that people profit off of them on that level.
yeah.
I
But
mean,
I mean,
that's-
at the same time, though, we put so much of our own human characteristics on what's necessarily just another animal.
Oh,
like
for
we
sure.
don't, we
yeah,
don't,
yeah. We
you know, you're not doing the
humanize
same thing
hell
for
out of 'em.
because we've domesticated them, all those other things. It's
Yeah.
not like because in other countries they have no feeling or concern about
Oh,
dogs.
yeah.
They completely
Yeah.
separate themselves from them.
Yeah,
It's
they
like,
eat them.
yeah, it's like okay,
They're like,
you know,
you're a
I'm
dog.
not concerned
See ya.
about their welfare or their well-being. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, in other countries they treat dogs like we treat chicken coops and chickens.
Well, this lady was very much of that. Well, these are a paycheck.
Oh yeah, it's a
And
instant.
She even said, she goes, there's one in the back
means to an
that
end.
that she was like, there were so many puppies in the litter that like his neck grew in sideways.
Oh, wow.
And she's like, yeah, I mean, he looks funny because his neck is sideways. And he's always over here. She's like, but he runs straight. And I'm like, that's your fucking selling point?
Yeah, that's your...
Back to your king and queen's point, she started her whole process with 4 dogs, and now she's got 40
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah. And the problem is when a litter of 8 pops out, 4 of them to 6 of them sell right away.
Yeah.
And then there's 2 left. Well, over time,
Right.
this continues to grow. And then on top of that, she's got all kinds of other dogs back there. Yes, French Bulldogs happen to be like that's the profit center.
Yeah.
She's got a couple, I'm guessing, champion dogs that are doing their thing. But the other ones, boy,
So the ultimate question, are the girls in your house, because you have 3, are they happy?
extremely happy.
Well, then you knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just need this dog to continue to be a good dog. Because that's all I was looking for was health,
Yeah.
good with the kids.
The health thing you never know, though. I mean, you really never know about any dog. I mean,
But when
or animal.
when a dog comes out and can't breathe
Yeah.
and then vomits, that one's not.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I'm not a vet, but the dog that
You're not?
Wait.
But
what?
the dog that can't breathe and then vomits up its dinner in front of you,
Yeah.
no. Then
Or
I
if
start.
he's bitey or yappy or,
So now I'm reduced to just looking at the other things. These dogs all the time. Okay, that's a negative. This dog, that's it. The
Yeah.
whole time I'm like, all right, that's only 1 snort. All the other dogs have a dozen snorts to this dog's 1 snort. So in my mind, 12 times healthier.
Yeah.
At least on that front.
Yeah.
Is there anything
2 testicles.
is there
Nice.
anything that leads you to think it's not 100% French Bulldog?
No, this
It-
lady
it's-
would never let. It's champion blood, dude.
You can look at it and tell it's 100% French. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
There's
No,
no
this-
other dog.
The
in
one thing this woman has is a lot of French
it.
bulldogs.
I don't think it's
and
some
then
like
crazy
purebred
mutts.
champion. Like, it's not.
Psh, no, both parents.
Yeah.
Championship bloodlines.
Okay.
Championship
just-
bloodline. She's going through and she's going like this. This one, champion. This one, champion. This
What
one,
champion of
champion.
what? Hardy County.
Oh,
Like-
so she gave me a passport, and that's how I know she's Ukrainian. It was like international dog passport, where all of its like shots are and shit. The first language for everything is Ukrainian.
You better get all the shots put back in that dog. I bet that dog has no shots.
Dude, we sent it over to the vet. We like photocopied all of the shots, on the Ukrainian passport. And I'm looking at it going, hell yeah, rabies, distemper. I was
Yeah.
like, this dog's aces.
They don't
Right.
accept any of it.
Dude, she looks at it. She goes, you're missing so many shots.
Yeah.
Right.
She's like, we need to get this dog in here right away. And we have a health guarantee through like tomorrow. So we need to get it to the vet to be checked out, where we could then turn around and say, hey, there's
Even if it has a health issue, you're not going to be able to do anything about it.
Can I get
at
another
this
48 hours pending the ice storm?
like we didn't notice he only had 3 legs.
point. Yeah.
We should negotiate. $10.
That money's gone.
Oh, that money's long gone.
Yeah.
So it's done. We have the
She's
dog.
got all sorts of new meth to do. Like,
I'm happy that we, as horrible as it sounds, that we rescued that dog.
yeah.
But for $2,900, that's not a rescue. It's a high dollar event. But I
Yeah.
do feel like I took that dog out of a crap situation.
Yeah.
And I've always, and I've talked about this here, and I know I've talked about it in front of you guys. Like, if an animal comes from a bad situation, but it's mentally fine, it appreciates you more.
For sure.
It loves you. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
hey, man, thank you for the good food,
Well,
and like the
it-
giving a shit.
Or the food.
Especially
Yeah.
if they're old enough to know that. Now, he's only 13 months. 13 months is what? How many years? In
One.
No. In dog years.
Oh, he's an adolescent.
Yeah, so he's going to
He's a
probably
teenager.
remember. Yeah.
Yeah, he knows what's up. He's seen enough.
Yeah, like the best cats and dogs I've ever had have come from like kind of a rough
Yeah.
situation, but I've never had one this old. And Troy, I know you've done the old dog thing, so you get it. I've always though opted for like my last dog was found in a box on the side of the road,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like in the middle of nowhere. My last cat was found under a barn next to its dead mom and dead siblings, and 2 of them were still alive. And I'm like, that motherfucker knows hunger.
Yeah.
I like that. Come with me, kid. Look at this.
Yeah.
Food.
Yeah.
Like your dog came out of a shelter.
Yeah.
where
I
it
got
had-
mine at the City Pound, and she was,
Yeah, they've
if they're not-
seen some things.
well, she was only 3 months old, but it was like she was the only one not barking.
But that's it. So
Like,
they-
okay, there's something
like,
odd, so let's go.
mentally, like
Yeah.
they've still got it together.
Yeah.
They're not bitey. They're not aggressive. They're not scared. Like they haven't had the shit beaten out of them.
Yeah.
Well, then that's like, okay, mentally you're okay, but you've seen some hard times. So you're going to appreciate the fact that you get a Nyla bone every once in a while.
Yeah.
So
You get an oversized memory foam bed to lay on. Like
I knew I had already imprinted on this stupid dog because I got home and my wife had this little like the travel crate, and because I crate dogs, like sorry bud,
That's
but
the best way to train them.
I am gonna break you. Like
Best way.
you gotta.
it's the only way to start. I mean, you crate them, and then once they learn that, then you can start letting them out more and more, giving them more and more freedom. Like kids.
They're like kids. So I got
you
home.
keep your kids locked up in the house, and then when they get old, you start to let them out on the street, and you'll watch them. And then they get older, and you let them go up and down the street. Next thing you know, they're
Go to your
12
friend's
years old,
house.
and they can go down
Yeah.
the street to their friend's house.
And
Exactly.
then they get their license.
Yeah,
and then they gone.
yeah,
But so like as soon as I got home, we had this like travel crate like you take a dog to the vet in,
yeah.
and I was like, I can't. First night in this house, like I can't have him not be able to see out the walls.
Yeah.
Like that's got to be. I don't want to traumatize after traumatizing. I raced my ass to the pet store. They were closing. I was like, bullshit.
Yeah.
Let me in. And I went, and I'm like looking at the crates. I'm like, how do I know which one to get?
You don't need a big one for a small dog, which is nice.
Dude, I pulled out the crate, and they had a picture of a French bulldog in the medium size. I go, sold,
Yeah.
medium size. So that's when I
And
knew,
you
though, I
took
was
your
like, I
and you
care.
took your first steps to the average of $184 a month for the rest of your life with this dog.
How's that?
That's what it says on average.
I don't believe that for a second.
Is
Says
that
over the life, it said you'll probably French bulldogs are expected to live about 11 years plus, and it says they average about 25,000.
this dog could be 11?
It could be,
I don't know.
be 11,
anything- you know what I mean? Like, I don't
That
know.
dog
they're
could
just
be 4.
expensive to take care of.
Yeah, like I'm waiting for the vet to go, how old do you really think this dog is?
Yeah.
You know, that's
3.
well, yeah, I'm fully aware that may be, and I told my wife that. I said, look, this lady, she has an answer for everything, but it doesn't seem to be coming from like
Facts.
a diary.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no ledger here.
Yeah.
She's just like January. What year?
Yeah.
1982.
2017. Wait, what?
It's a good-looking dog either way.
Yeah,
man. That's
it's
a
a cute
good-looking
dog.
dog.
No, he's a
he's
good-looking
got-
dog, and he's got a great attitude. That's
Yeah.
all I can.
You got to
ask for.
train him. I mean, he's
Just gotta get him
he's
fixed.
not
so
a
he starts
puppy, but
marking it up.
he might be a little older, but still.
Oh, he's a pisser.
I saw that first thing when I met him.
Yeah, I did. One of the names I tried to give him was Toots because he farted 5 times on the way home. And I'm like, all right, so we're averaging one every like
Isn't
40
that a
minutes.
thing for those dogs, though?
Oh, yeah. French Bulldogs
Yeah.
smell like crap. But
Well, congrats.
thank
yeah.
you. Thank you.
Girls are happy.
Girls are
Wife's
happy, dude. That's
I mean, that's
all you're
That's
looking.
Valentine's
yeah,
Day.
that's all you're looking for.
Well, and that's it. And I got my bike. That's
Yeah, you spent $150 and the wife spent $2,900.
so now I need to upgrade the bike. I'm very excited about that. That process begins, and I need to train a dog to piss somewhere not in my shoes.
You getting a basket for the dog?
Maybe
oh
for the
yeah,
bike.
for the bike. Yeah,
No,
that dog would look cool in a basket riding around.
I can
on
tell
the
you
beach cruiser.
with the big dog the other day. We had a nice sunny day. I've started breaking him in the Miata.
oh, nice.
I have him sitting shotgun with the windows rolled up with the top down, and I'm now driving him around the neighborhood to get him used to sitting in the seat.
Yeah,
Because he looks beast,
he look
man.
cool sitting up in that
Sitting
seat.
up
Yeah.
strong.
Does
you
he
know.
have a T-shirt too?
We'll get him there.
Yeah.
But like, I
You have
want
a
to get
boyfriend
him.
yet?
I want to get. He does,
Yeah, he does.
but I'm getting him to the point.
A new Frenchie.
Yeah.
Oh,
That poor bugger. But that's my goal is the big dog. I want to be able to cruise around in the Miata with him sitting shotgun, just looking
That would
tough.
look cool.
Yeah, it's a good look. It's a good look.
You think they're going to get along? Wrigley and Folly?
As long as Wrigley stops being a dick, and I'm hoping that he'll mellow out. But Folly, honestly, he doesn't care.
Folly doesn't mind
That's
him.
good.
He doesn't mind anything. He
Yeah.
doesn't mind anything. He's seen it.
They'll be best friends before you know it.
Yeah. Tonight was the first time I'd ever seen him run. When he was in here running before the show, that was
He
the
kinda
first time
freaked
I'd
out a
ever
little bit.
seen him run laps. I was
Yeah.
like, nice. Still got a little life in him. So I expect the next week to be a big learning curve for us.
Yeah.
He's gonna show us who he really is. But I do know that in his moment of sheer rapture, he was a far more tolerable dog than all those other pieces of crap. That's all I know.
Gotcha.
Winner.
That's it. Well, thank you guys for entertaining my dog stories
That was good.
for the last hour. See, Stu, this is why I didn't want to start before the deli.
I had no clue it was that detailed. The fact it involved a holiday, a bicycle, West Virginia.
there was
There's
a
too much
lot
going on.
going on, dude. So I was like, well, we'll get there. We'll get there. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hey, I do need to give a shout out.
I got a couple shout outs.
Go for
Well,
it.
you go first.
I can't.
No, you've got to. Okay. So we do, every week I bitch and complain about the review and write up. You got to give us a review.
There, I just lost the whole thing.
Okay, we'll start over.
Editing.
We finally got a write up. It's been months. So thank you very much to Jenna428. The headline is really ? 5 stars. So I like where we're starting here. It says, I've never enjoyed listening to dumb boys talk about stupid shit in a garage, but now I do.
Oh, she sounds cool.
It's good stuff.
But please make Stu stop saying peace out. So thank you, Jenna. Jenna428.
I think I can see through that one.
Hey, you write your review and give us a
So I'm going to
rate
randomly
review,
give a
then-
plug for the Teach Me Babe podcast because that sounds an awful lot like our friend Chris. But that's neither here nor there. You should check out Teach Me Babe. I do want to give a shout out to Nick Fleshman. He sent us some money this week. Unfortunately, I cannot fulfill his wish just yet. His wish was that we would do back-to-back episodes with Ely.
I mean, Nick, I don't know you, but you're asking the world of us.
Literally. That is a difficult ask, but Ely has a valid excuse. He has another valid excuse this week, and I will leave it at that. So we will just say that when Ely gets back on the air, we'll talk about it. And Nick, for you, we will get you a back-to-back. Ely owes you that $20.
Yeah.
We'll get that done. So I appreciate you reaching out and sending that money.
Also, shout out to Sean of Nectar Sunglasses. We've had multiple listeners try to buy some merch, which we love Nectar here, and the code's not working. Do not be worried. The code's not working because right now, Sean at Nectar is having a huge sale.
Huge sale.
Better than the 30% off.
Yes.
Go buy your stuff now. If you want an even better deal, once February's over, he will go back to the discount code will be working again, but they're having a huge sale right now. Some dope sunglasses for $25, $30. Spend more than 40.
Polarized glasses.
Yes.
Yeah.
Spend more than 45, free shipping. So Sean, Brendan got hit up. I got hit up. We both reached out to Sean, and on separate occasions, not even knowing, he responded to both of us. We hadn't even talked to each other. He's taking care of us. He understands that our listeners are Nectar's, people.
It's the birthday
he's
sale,
taking care of
though,
us.
and sunglasses are literally like 40, in some cases 50% off.
Oh, yeah.
Had you added 30% off there, then Sean couldn't eat.
Yeah.
So
That's a little much.
So
he makes sure we're taken care of, and I got to give him a shout out for that.
yeah, no, I appreciate you thinking of that because I felt bad. I was like, hey, Sean, the code's not working. He's like, have you seen the sale? I'm like, oh, yeah.
I wasn't shopping. I wasn't shopping for him, so I didn't know.
So, all good. Thank you guys so much for tuning in week in, week out. If you haven't had a chance to rate, review, Troy wants you to do such things.
You're damn right. I'll read it. Read it.
That's right. And you can always reach out
Give
to
me a
us
shout out.
InsideThePalletHouse@gmail.com or find us at ITPH Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. Or you can always head over to the Facebook page, and we'll talk about whatever topic you got to talk about, assuming it doesn't suck.
You can always Venmo us some money, too.
At what?
At Inside the Pallet House on Venmo.
Boom. There you go. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll talk to you next week. Cheers.
Cheers. You're not saying this, dude? I'm disappointed, Stu. You're supposed to give the middle finger. That was a pretty good podcast, don't you think?
Peace out.